Heihachi sits quietly as unfamiliar girls gather around him, their presence sudden and unsettling. Suddenly, everything changes when a gacha system appears before him. The system reveals itself as Girls' Core, a game centered on training powerful female allies. Continuous updates, rare characters, and massive popularity define the game, drawing countless players into its system. Under the night sky, Heihachi reflects on his role, realizing he has become deeply invested as one of its biggest spenders. Inside his cluttered room, Heihachi spends heavily despite low funds, chasing a newly added character with poor odds. Determination overtakes him as money is thrown into the system again. Excitement erupts as he commits fully, driven by emotion, and the hope that his efforts will finally succeed. A rare chest appears with dazzling light, signaling a guaranteed high reward and raising his expectations instantly. Instead of the desired result, an invitation to another world emerges. Heihachi steadies himself after the pull, forcing calm as only one result remains unopened before him. Discovering a strange invitation promising transfer to another world, uncertainty rises, yet he selects the option, unable to ignore the possibility behind the offer. In an instant, his surroundings vanish, replaced by an open field stretching far beyond sight. Pain and confusion confirm reality, leaving him alone as the realization of a true transfer settles in. Heihachi forces himself to stay calm, doubting whether the situation is real while deciding to search for shelter first. Across the vast wilderness, and the danger of unknown creatures weighs heavily on his mind. Fear grows as he imagines deadly animals nearby, his body reacting with tension and unease. Suddenly, driving him into panic as survival instinct takes control. Desperation pushes him to climb a tree, glancing back in shock as the creature continues its relentless pursuit. Realizing he has truly entered a different world after barely escaping danger, relief comes as he finds his phone, recalling the mysterious invitation that brought him here. Confusion deepens when the game still functions, yet basic options fail to respond, leaving him uncertain. A status screen appears, revealing his level as 1 and limiting his available resources. Frustration overwhelms him as missing data becomes clear, forcing him to accept the harsh reality of his situation. Heihachi notices a guaranteed reward offer, and excitement quickly overwhelms his restraint as the gacha temptation returns, bringing sudden pain while granting him knowledge of the new world's language. Realization strikes as units can be summoned, prompting him to test the system despite lingering uncertainty. Shock spreads across his face as the summoning begins, unsure of what will truly appear. A powerful figure emerges in a burst of energy, marking the arrival of his first summoned companion. Summoned armored girl descends before Heihachi, her presence confirming the system's power in this new world. Recognition begins as she identifies him, linking herself to him as her master. Sudden misfortune causes her to fall from the tree, leaving Heihachi startled by the unexpected outcome. She introduces herself properly while guiding him, establishing order despite the awkward start. Danger returns as monsters approach, and she instructs him to equip weapons, preparing him for immediate survival. The tutorial begins as multiple monsters surround them, while the summoned warrior prepares to demonstrate combat. With overwhelming speed and precision, she defeats the enemies instantly. His turn arrives, yet panic takes over as a creature charges, forcing him into a desperate counterattack. The strike lands, but the situation feels dangerous as the enemy retaliates and throws him off balance, surprisingly, revealing his durability and easing tension as he realizes he can endure the fight. Heihachi lands a final strike, defeating the enemy, while the brief battle ends with relief and exhaustion. Afterward, the armored girl introduces herself as Norel, confirming her role as his summoned companion. Tension rises as he reacts clumsily, struggling to adjust to the sudden bond and situation. Soon, the tutorial concludes, marking the beginning of his new life in this unfamiliar world. A weary Heihachi trudges along a path, while an armored girl silently observes his struggle. Reaching open ground, he decides to rest, and she activates a mysterious camping item. The tent appears instantly, surprising him, as she inspects it with calm, efficient movements. Night falls, and they sit by a small fire, the girl preparing to question him carefully. She explains her role, pledging support as their uncertain journey begins. Heihachi struggles along the path, exhausted, while an armored girl watches his unsteady steps. Reaching a quiet area, she decides to use a special item to set up a place to rest. A tent appears instantly, and Heihachi observes in surprise as she efficiently checks their surroundings. Later, both sit near a small fire, and she prepares to understand his situation. She reveals her purpose, stating she was summoned to support Heihachi in this unfamiliar world. Heihachi examines a strange food item while the armored girl eagerly prepares to use it. Suddenly, her excitement grows, and she anticipates the meal with visible energy. a full table of dishes appears, surprising him as the food materializes from the item. They begin eating together, and Heihachi cautiously tastes the unfamiliar meal. Delight spreads across him as the flavor exceeds expectations, while she enjoys it without restraint. Heihachi rests near the camp, thinking about reaching a city while the night grows quiet. Inside the tent, he falls asleep deeply, unaware of anything happening outside. The armored girl wakes him, sensing danger and refusing to let him remain asleep. She steps out cautiously after hearing a distant noise, alert and ready to respond. Moments later, chaos erupts as creatures attack nearby travelers, forcing others to defend themselves. Heihachi and the armored girl witness large orcs leading a sudden attack on nearby travelers. Understanding the danger, she assigns roles, choosing to face the orcs while Heihachi handles the goblins. Without hesitation, she charges forward, clashing directly with a massive orc to protect the others. Meanwhile, Heihachi steps in, despite fear, confronting smaller enemies as cries for help spread around. Through effort and growing resolve, he fights back, discovering his strength while defending those in danger. Heihachi stands after the battle, realizing the fight ended easier than expected as he steadies himself. The armored girl approaches and acknowledges his effort, noting that he managed better than she anticipated. She reacts strongly to his rough behavior, showing unexpected sensitivity beneath her armor. Morning arrives, and the travelers express gratitude for the help they received during the attack. As they continue along the road, Heihachi listens while learning that such dangers are common in this world. Heihachi continues walking, struggling with fatigue, while the armored girl moves ahead steadily. Soon, she pulls him along, urging him to keep pace as they travel across the open land. Meanwhile, the others notice their effort, reflecting on the help given during the earlier attack. At last, the city comes into view, marking the next step in their journey forward. Heihachi arrives in the city of Bern, observing its lively streets, while his party regains stability after their journey. Excitement rises as he counts a large reward, realizing the total wealth gained from their efforts. Balancing comfort with practical needs for the group's progress, choosing simple food while prioritizing long-term goals over luxury. Concern grows as he checks his device, noticing the lack of magic stones needed for future gacha use. Heihachi searches the town for magic stone exchange but finds none. At an inn, he learns the room cost is high, forcing him to reconsider their limited funds carefully. Awkward tension appears when sharing a room becomes an option, leaving him visibly unsettled by the situation. Determination pushes him to request 2 rooms instead, choosing practicality despite sacrificing meals and comfort. Confusion follows as his companion shows no concern about sharing, while Heihachi remains conflicted and uncertain. Heihachi listens as Noril expresses a strong desire to stay by his side. Morning unfolds with a simple meal, where Noril enjoys the moment fully, while Heihachi reflects on her happiness. Curiosity leads him to check their status, trying to understand their current condition and growth. Differences in their abilities become clear, making him question the gap despite their close connection. Attention shifts to her powerful equipment, revealing strength that exceeds his expectations and deepens his concern. Heihachi compares his weak equipment to powerful gear, realizing the attached effects between them differ greatly. Testing a sword, he notices its unusual glow in battle, hinting at hidden properties beyond normal weapons. Confusion shifts toward his phone as it charges through the world's magic. He questions Noril about magic stones and returning home, yet receives no clear explanation. Night arrives quietly, and doubt settles in as he reflects before sleeping, uncertain about relying on others. Noril finishes bathing, quietly enjoying the rare comfort while the room remains still around her. Meanwhile, Heihachi considers his future, realizing he needs a steady income before finding a way home. Determination settles as he plans to visit the Adventurers Guild, hoping it offers a path forward. Unexpectedly, Noril returns, her relaxed state catching him off guard and breaking his focus. Embarrassment spreads as she questions his reaction, leaving Heihachi tense and unsure how to respond. Noril reacts innocently while Heihachi feels confused, struggling to understand her simple view about appearances. The next day begins with their adventurer registration complete, and they prepare to take on their first quest together. Soon they travel beyond the city, entering a forest known for monsters and dangerous encounters. Caution rises when a goblin appears, drawing Heihachi's attention as he prepares himself. Large group surrounds them, turning the situation into a dangerous battle he did not expect. Noril moves forward without hesitation, cutting through enemies while Heihachi watches. Battle continues as she handles multiple foes at once, leaving him struggling to keep up with the pace. Realization sets in when he notices this area is a monster spawn point, explaining the endless wave approaching them. its presence overwhelming and clearly far stronger than the others. In a swift strike, Noril defeats it, leaving Heihachi stunned as the rare monster becomes valuable loot. Heihachi notices his device reacting after the battle, drawing his attention away from the surroundings. Uncertainty lingers as he checks it again, trying to understand what changed and why it matters. Shock appears when the number of magic stones increases, surprising him with unexpected results. Noril observes calmly, connecting the gain to the rare monster they defeated earlier. Understanding forms as Heihachi realizes rare enemies provide magic stones, giving him a clear method to gather resources. Heihachi and Noril continue hunting monsters relentlessly, aiming to gather more magic stones before night falls. Heihachi learns the world's gacha system from a girl, realizing high rarity controls everything. Determination rises as he decides to obtain a powerful unit. Excitement grows while he activates the summon through his device. A chest appears, raising hope of a rare reward. The result disappoints, giving only an item instead, leaving Heihachi frustrated, yet driven to try again soon. Heihachi rejects the harsh system, falling as he realizes there is no easy way to gain power. Soon, a collection of items fills his inventory, showing repeated low-value results. Frustration builds when another unwanted reward appears, confirming his poor luck. Afterward, he combines identical weapons, hoping to create something stronger despite doubts. At last, the enhanced blade forms, giving Heihachi slight progress, yet reminding him greater effort is still needed. Heihachi examines a plushie item, realizing it has no real value beyond appearance. The girl studies the object closely, questioning its meaning while he awkwardly agrees. Later, he visits a guild and receives a request involving escorting a carriage toward a distant village. Information reveals the route passes through a dangerous forest filled with monsters and rare resources. Motivation shifts as he accepts the mission, aiming to earn rewards and continue progressing despite earlier setbacks. Preparation begins as Heihachi studies the route to Rubelk village, organizing items and understanding limits before departure. Soon, he meets a veteran adventurer who explains survival in the forest, while his companion quietly observes. Curiosity grows when Heihachi uses a status app, checking abilities and comparing differences between them. Confusion follows as unexpected data appears, making him question hidden changes within the system. Shock spreads when abnormal information is revealed, leaving Heihachi unsettled as the journey continues forward. The group escorts the carriage through the forest, maintaining a steady pace while staying alert. Suddenly, a violent impact shakes the ground, forcing everyone to react as danger approaches. A massive cyclops emerges, towering over them and blocking their path with overwhelming presence. The veteran refuses to fight, warning that the enemy's strength is far beyond their rank. Heihachi checks the creature's status, confirming its immense power, leaving the party with little choice but to retreat. A sudden plan forms as the armored girl decides to act, taking responsibility while others hesitate. Speed increases when she equips special shoes, rushing forward with surprising agility. Momentum builds as she evades attacks and closes the distance, drawing the monster's focus. A powerful skill activates, boosting her abilities far beyond normal limits for a brief moment. The attack lands with overwhelming force, striking down the Cyclops instantly and ending the battle. Cyclops remains standing despite the heavy blow, showing it has not fallen yet. Heihachi charges forward, aiming to finish the weakened monster with a direct strike. Confidence rises briefly as he believes victory is secured, unaware the threat still lingers. Unexpectedly, the giant body collapses at last, ending the fight after a final delay. Relief spreads among the group as they recover, acknowledging survival and the narrow escape from danger. Her helmet opens, revealing a gentle face, shifting Heihachi's view as their journey continues. A newly summoned girl studies her surroundings, confused by the unfamiliar presence before her. Embarrassment overwhelms her, and tears gather as panic spreads across her face. Instinct takes over, causing her to rush away while trying to hide herself, losing balance in the process. Heihachi reacts quickly, retrieving her helmet and approaching with urgency. She ends up on the ground, hurt and shaken, while he moves closer, concerned by the consequences of the moment. The girl struggles to move, her body failing to respond despite no visible injury. Night falls while he supports her, carrying the weight of urgency as they head toward a safer place. Inside a quiet tent, she lies resting while he watches over her, choosing caution over action. Awareness returns gradually, recalling the earlier moment with lingering embarrassment. Guilt builds within him, yet she steadies the situation by denying his responsibility, easing the tension between them. Heihachi gently encourages her to explain, trying to understand the reason behind her unusual behavior. Hesitation lingers, as she admits that being seen affects her body, causing embarrassment and disrupting her control. Uncertainty grows while she worries about how he might react, fearing judgment despite his earlier actions. Surprise crosses Heihachi's face as he views her differently, finding something unexpected in her appearance. Embarrassment shifts between them when his thoughts slip out. The girl suddenly clings to Heihachi, driven by overwhelming emotion, while his body reacts in shock and pain from the impact. Time passes without further trouble, and her condition stabilizes as normal movement returns. Their journey leads them safely into a quiet village, marking the completion of their task. A sudden alert shifts Heihachi's focus, urgency rising as he decides their next move. Without hesitation, choosing action over rest, despite the calm surroundings, revealing a limited-time opportunity that could increase their chances of gaining stronger allies. Determination fills his expression as he sets a demanding goal. Confidence replaces hesitation while he lays out the strategy, expecting full commitment despite the difficulty ahead. Their next step leads them deep into the forest, where resources can be gathered more efficiently. Strange creatures begin to appear, confirming the area as a key point for farming materials needed for the plan, showing how staying near spawn points reduces wasted time between encounters. A monster appears, and the girl defeats it instantly, proving the plan's effectiveness and increasing their pace. He decides to rotate between multiple spawn points, using a map to optimize their route. After locating several points, fatigue begins to show as the intensity of the plan takes its toll. She forces herself forward, driven by his request and determination to see the plan through. The second day begins with intense hunting as Heihachi directs movements between spawn points. Days pass quickly and exhaustion starts to show, though the effort continues without pause. By the seventh day, she fights relentlessly, cutting down every enemy while maintaining control. A firm resolve forms as she focuses on eliminating the target completely, ignoring delays. On the eighth day, excitement rises when a rare enemy finally appears, signaling the goal is within reach. In the village, the girl clings to Heihachi again, acting loudly without restraint, drawing attention from those nearby. Her focus shifts back to hunting, but exhaustion causes her strength and control to falter. Heihachi quickly leads her away, guiding her back to rest while others watch in confusion. Inside the inn, though her mind remains fixed on the task even in rest, concern grows within him as progress slows, realizing the goal may not be reached in time. Heihachi notices her condition collapse completely, realizing their limit as the situation reaches a critical turning point. Heihachi grips his weapon firmly, preparing himself as tension builds around him. Together with his companion, he moves across open land, following a plan set for the day's hunt. Heihachi considers the limited time remaining, realizing the urgency to complete their objective quickly. His armored ally acknowledges the order, showing readiness while Heihachi steels his resolve. Entering the forest alone, Heihachi advances cautiously, fear rising as unseen threats surround him. A massive beast suddenly appears, towering over Heihachi as fear flashes across his face. Without hesitation, he charges forward and swings his weapon, striking with all his strength. Moments later, Heihachi collapses against a tree, his body worn from the brutal clash. His armored companion rushes to his side, checking on him while the forest falls quiet. Relief spreads as the ordeal ends, both enduring the final trial and reaching their long-awaited goal. Back at home, Heihachi reveals his gathered stones, excitement rising as the carnival finally begins. The first attempt brings poor results, causing slight disappointment while he prepares to continue. Unexpected luck follows, as rare rewards appear repeatedly, raising hope for something greater. More stones pour down during another pull, fueling his determination to press on. In the end, the result falls short of expectations, yet Heihachi accepts it and moves forward. Heihachi continues pulling repeatedly, each result staying average as frustration slowly builds. A short pause follows, his grip tightening while he steadies himself to continue. Sweat runs down his face as the remaining chances dwindle, yet determination pushes him forward. Another failed attempt breaks his composure, anger erupting as expectations collapse. Beside him, his companion offers quiet support, helping him regain focus for the final attempt. Heihachi recalls the past days and the efforts shared with his companion, gathering resolve for the final pull. Determination sharpens in his eyes as he commits fully to the last attempt. The result appears, but despair erupts when it fails to meet his expectations. Regret overwhelms him, questioning every choice as disappointment sinks deep. Beside him, his companion comforts him gently, restoring hope as a final chance remains. Heihachi watches as his companion eagerly takes the final turn, recalling all the past failures. Regret settles in as he reflects on his obsession and the mistakes made along the way. Suddenly, a rare result appears, shocking both of them beyond belief. A powerful new figure emerges, marking the long-awaited success of their efforts. Overwhelmed with emotion, Heihachi breaks down while his companion supports him, as the final summon awaits confirmation. In a quiet clearing, Heihachi hesitates, holding the final summon as the moment lingers. Soon after, the summoned figure appears, and he evaluates her presence with cautious curiosity. Energy surges as the summoning completes, confirming the arrival of a powerful new ally. The mage reveals herself fully, her presence calm yet overwhelming. Standing before them, she acknowledges Heihachi and his companion, marking the start of a new bond. Heihachi urges the newly summoned mage to introduce herself, struggling to keep his composure. She responds, calmly, observing him closely while he awkwardly tries to invite her along. Doubt fills her expression as she questions the value of joining him, despite hesitation. Heihachi pushes forward, determined to prove himself and ask for her help. In the end, Estelle accepts, joining their group and marking the beginning of a new journey. A gacha campaign begins, as he continues hunting monsters, steadily gathering resources. Returning to town, the small party settles in, now expanded beyond its original members. After recent successful pulls, a new companion appears, a magician named Estelle, adding balance to a team once focused only on physical strength. Adjusting to the group while maintaining her own preferences, tension rises as differing expectations about living arrangements reveal early conflicts within the expanding party. Heihachi faces pressure, as the girls insist on sharing a room, creating confusion. Estelle teases him confidently, asserting her presence while subtly challenging his reactions and composure. Later, the group moves through the inn, leaving Heihachi behind as he processes the situation and their growing closeness. Inside the room, Estelle interacts playfully with the others, forming bonds while the atmosphere becomes more relaxed. Meanwhile, checking his gacha results and reflecting as the team begins stabilizing, Heihachi checks Estelle's status through the app, confirming her abilities and overall strength as a newly summoned magician. Her equipment and stats reveal exceptional power, marking her as a rare and valuable addition to the team. Suddenly, he panics after noticing something inappropriate on the screen. While Estelle grows curious about his reaction, he quickly shifts attention to his gacha items, attempting to hide the earlier moment. Watching closely as his nervous behavior exposes lingering tension, Heihachi sits uncertainly as Estelle approaches, her movements calm yet deliberate, closing the distance and leaving him frozen as her actions overwhelm his composure, turning the moment into playful retaliation, while Heihachi becomes the center of their teasing. The next day, the group walks through town, appearing normal again as the tension fades into routine. Exhaustion finally shows on Heihachi's face, hinting that the previous night left him unable to properly rest. Heihachi leads the group toward the Adventurers Guild, deciding it should be their first destination in town. Inside, he prepares to register Estelle, guiding her through the process as the others follow closely. Attention gathers around them, with nearby adventurers quietly observing the unusual party composition. At the counter, Heihachi handles the request while sensing the growing curiosity directed at them. Estelle stands calmly, introduced as a magician, marking her official entry into the guild and the team. Heihachi approaches the counter and begins Estelle's registration, surprising the staff with her sudden appearance. While forms are completed, he learns that magicians are rare in the city, explaining the attention they receive. Estelle quietly finishes the process as the surrounding crowd continues watching with growing curiosity. After receiving her nameplate, she notices differences in rank, realizing her position within the guild. The result reveals a low rank, leaving her dissatisfied while Heihachi reacts with calm acceptance. Estelle feels left behind after learning her rank, her mood dropping as Heihachi notices her quiet disappointment. Surrounding crowd reacts harshly, drawing attention to her state and placing pressure on Heihachi. He quickly steps in, encouraging her to take on requests and promising support from the team. Her attitude shifts, showing determination as she sets a clear goal to rise in rank quickly. Soon after, heading toward new tasks to begin improving her standing, Heihachi equips new gear from recent gacha pulls, improving his abilities while presenting a more confident appearance. Using special glasses, he secretly checks status information, keeping track of both his and Estelle's development. Estelle grows curious as his actions draw attention, sensing something unusual behind his behavior. Soon after, and she prepares to demonstrate her magic, ready to prove her strength in battle. A group faces a sudden wave of monsters as Estelle steps forward, preparing to unleash her power while the others watch from behind, raising her staff, gathering energy as the enemies charge recklessly toward her position. Spikes erupt from the ground beneath the monsters, striking them all at once and stopping their advance instantly. After the attack, defeated creatures lie scattered, while Estelle stands calmly, already thinking about using something even weaker next time. sending projectiles that pierce through the remaining monsters as Heihachi watches the overwhelming display unfold. She explains her limits calmly, noting the restriction of her magic while the group processes what just happened, wiping out enemies from a distance and leaving a strong impression on Heihachi fighting. Alongside Norl, she shows steady coordination, both advancing with confidence as their strength becomes evident. Later in town, while Heihachi stands nearby as they prepare to take on a higher-ranked quest, Heihachi gathers the group and proposes a new idea, suggesting they change direction while Estelle and Norl listen carefully. While walking through town, he recalls useful information and leads them toward a store. Inside, large bags of monster drops fill the counter, but the shopkeeper explains limits. Another man mentions a dungeon in Sting, offering an alternative way to handle their resources. Hearing about a rare monster cave, Heihachi realizes this destination could bring greater rewards. Heihachi imagines the rewards from rare monsters, realizing the chance to obtain many valuable magic stones. Despite the excitement, thinking carefully about their current strength and the risks ahead, with Estelle and Norl in the team, and the group agrees that exploring the dungeon is possible. They move through town, heading toward the departure area as preparations begin for the journey. At the carriage station, everything is set, and the group readies themselves to travel toward Sting, accepting the cramped space as they prepare for a long journey to Sting, leaving Brune behind. The carriage moves steadily across open land, carrying them toward their destination. The route stretches through multiple villages, and after several days, their journey continues without interruption. Inside, boredom grows, leading Heihachi and the others to pass time with simple distractions. Soon the motion overwhelms Norl, leaving her exhausted and unable to endure the ride. Norl grows worse during the trip, unable to endure the motion as Heihachi and Estelle realize her condition is not improving. Her nausea returns strongly, and despite concern from the others, no one can offer a direct solution. Estelle calmly steps forward, deciding to handle the situation with her magic. Using a forceful spell, she puts Norl to sleep, stopping the discomfort through an unexpected method. With Norl resting, the carriage continues onward, while the others quietly accept Estelle's unusual solution, forcing nearby adventurers into danger as Heihachi observes the situation carefully. While Norl remains asleep, Heihachi prepares a solution, deciding to use an item obtained from the gacha. After using the panacea, Norl recovers quickly, regaining strength as Estelle prepares to assist. Norl charges forward, moving swiftly and striking the Minotaur with renewed power. As the battle intensifies, Estelle readies herself, considering whether to unleash her full strength next, surprising the surrounding adventurers as the powerful monster struggles to respond. At a distance, Estelle prepares magic calmly, drawing attention as others begin to question her strength. She releases a precise spell, sending a powerful strike across the field while ordering everyone to retreat. The attack lands directly, crushing the Minotaur with overwhelming force and ending the battle instantly afterward. Estelle relaxes, satisfied with the outcome as the dust settles around the defeated enemy. Estelle enjoys her magic after victory, while Heihachi senses uncertainty about their party's future. After the Minotaur attack, the group traveled across quiet plains, moving steadily towards safety while tension lingered. Image 2 inside the carriage, one companion struggled with discomfort, gripping the seat as the journey continued. Soon its towering structures marking their long-awaited destination. Entering the city, the group observed busy streets, sensing a new phase beginning. Standing within the capital, they paused, preparing for their next steps, while one member remained weakened. Despite exhaustion, the armored companion steadied herself, refusing to rely on others, while the group watched with concern, intended to restore her strength and ease the lingering effects of the journey. Relief followed as she recovered, expressing quiet gratitude while her condition improved. Together, they approached the Adventurer Association, ready to proceed within the capital. At the counter, documents were reviewed, and registration began as they prepared to take on new quests. At the guild hall, registration proceeded smoothly as the staff reviewed their documents without raising concerns, allowing the group to accept quests while settling into the new environment. Outside, their mood lightened, and their bond showed through small, relaxed moments together. Then, a stranger approached, drawing their attention with a composed and confident presence. Introducing himself as a party leader, he observed them closely, showing interest in their abilities, especially the magician. A confident leader stepped closer, directing his attention toward the young magician with clear intent. Doubt quickly arose within the group as his words created tension and suspicion about his motives. Criticism followed, questioning both their strength and their place as proper adventurers. Still, he pressed on, offering promises of advancement and a more secure future under his guidance. Faced with pressure, the group hesitated, weighing the offer while uncertainty lingered around the magician's decision. The leader initiated a challenge, striking his hand with force as tension rose between both sides. Without hesitation, the magician rejected his offer, showing no interest in joining him. Her reason became clear, as her resolve centered on staying with her current companion. Frustration spread among the group, while the leader grew irritated by their refusal. Soon after, he proposed a duel, setting a condition that would decide the magician's future. The leader apologized calmly, while one member suddenly knelt, pleading desperately for his companion to remain. Lowering himself further, willing to sacrifice dignity to protect his teammate. Observing the scene, the leader considered the situation, weighing the boy's actions against his own pride. Instead of continuing the duel, he shifted terms, proposing a large payment as an alternative condition. Without hesitation, the boy presented the required sum, placing it forward with determination to secure their freedom. The terms were finalized, and the duel was accepted, with its outcome set to spread across the city. Beyond the streets, the capital stood vast and silent, awaiting the coming event. Walking away, unease lingered within the group as the weight of the decision settled. Seeing her distress, her companion comforted her, easing the tension with gentle reassurance. Despite the calm moment, frustration remained as thoughts of the opponent continued to stir within them. After examining his opponent's abilities, the boy realized their combined strength and equipment could surpass him. Confidence spread through the group, and with renewed determination, they prepared together for the upcoming duel, certain of victory. Heihachi stands in a stone corridor, facing a knight and a girl while tension rises. Soon after, he appears above the arena, forced into the spotlight as the crowd gathers below. The stadium roars as the duel is declared, placing Heihachi against a seasoned adventurer. Okura faces him confidently, acknowledging his presence with calm authority. Finally, the gap in strength becomes clear as Heihachi braces himself for the coming clash. A fierce girl steps forward, anger rising as she defends Heihachi from interference. Moments later, confusion spreads as one member suddenly rushes ahead, drawing attention from both sides. The truth unfolds when he reveals his intent to save the girl and recruit her. Soon after, the girl strikes him down to stop further chaos, then calmly proposes canceling the duel. In the end, a subtle detail catches attention, hinting at something unusual about Heihachi's possession. The girl proudly reveals a ring, presenting it as something meaningful, while catching everyone off guard. Soon after, his embarrassment growing as attention shifts toward him. Tension rises when another adventurer reacts strongly, grabbing him while assuming a serious relationship exists. Despite the confusion, Heihachi breaks away and rushes forward, forcing himself to focus on the upcoming duel. Meanwhile, the girl accepts the misunderstanding calmly while rumors begin to spread and the match finally begins. Diaz and his party enter the arena confidently, drawing attention from the crowd as their presence dominates the stage, noting their strong composition while Heihachi watches from a distance with concern. Soon the true challenge appears as a massive ogre is revealed, its overwhelming strength setting the tone for the battle, making it clear that defeating the monster will decide the outcome. Without delay, the ogre charges forward, signaling the start of a fierce and unforgiving clash. The tank steps forward, raising his shield to block the ogre's heavy strike, while the team begins their coordinated assault. Attacks follow in sequence as the warrior and archer strike. Supported by steady healing magic from behind, Diaz delivers a powerful finishing move, cutting through the ogre as the crowd reacts to his overwhelming strength. Soon after, the monster collapses, marking a swift and decisive victory for his party. From afar, realizing the vast difference in ability and the challenge ahead, Diaz confidently questions Heihachi's group, emphasizing the overwhelming strength of his own party. A smug expression follows, as he challenges whether they can achieve the same result. The girl reacts strongly, stepping forward with frustration while Heihachi remains uneasy behind her. Soon, their turn arrives, and Heihachi's party enters the arena under far less attention. Facing the vast stadium, he stands alone at the center, realizing the weight of the situation. Spectators doubt Heihachi's chances, expecting a quick defeat as they compare him to the stronger opposing party. Anxiety builds within him, his body reacting to the pressure while uncertainty clouds his thoughts. His companions remain confident, encouraging him while he begins preparing items from his gacha for the fight. Attention shifts to a mysterious ring, raising curiosity about its purpose and potential use. With resolve forming, Heihachi steps forward and signals the start of his own subjugation attempt. Heihachi quickly gives orders as his team moves in, coordinating their actions to intercept the ogre's incoming attack. A sudden strike launches the ogre into the air, catching everyone off guard as Heihachi steps in. With precise timing, a powerful blast from his ally lands directly, ending the fight almost instantly. Shock spreads across the arena as the result is declared, leaving even observers stunned. The aftermath begins, and Heihachi quietly reflects while the reward is prepared. Diaz acknowledges defeat and offers the reward, showing respect while Heihachi accepts it with hesitation. Soon after, tension fades as Diaz apologizes, recognizing the truth behind earlier events. Gradually, both sides move past conflict, agreeing to maintain a better relationship moving forward. In the end, they part on friendly terms, leaving others surprised by their unexpected understanding. A fierce battle unfolds as a warrior clashes with a powerful beast. The attack lands, but the struggle shows clear difficulty. After the fight, two girls grow closer while one receives a promotion. Quiet Moment reveals concern about recent efforts and performance. He reflects on his weakness after failing in battle. Past encounters replay in his mind, deepening his frustration. Understanding grows, and a path toward improvement slowly forms. The boy suddenly shouts with urgency, raising his fist as he declares the need for gacha. He checks their limited magic stones and realizes the shortage. With determination, he orders them to gather more magic stones. The girls react quickly, startled by his sudden command. They rush away in haste, choosing escape over hesitation. Movement fills the scene as urgency drives their actions. Meanwhile, he stands calmly, showing confidence despite the chaos he caused. The girls react with surprise as his sudden arrival disrupts their moment. A power bracelet is introduced, promising increased strength and recovery. Pressure builds as he stresses the risk of facing future challenges without preparation. He explains that gathering magic stones will raise their level and unlock new equipment. Soon after, he orders rest for one girl while planning ahead. The decision settles the group, setting their next goal for tomorrow. Heihachi calls out sharply, breaking the tension between the two girls. His presence pulls their attention back to the situation. Inside the room, he observes one girl resting while discussing her shaken state. He calculates the number of monsters needed for gathering stones. Estelle suddenly takes control, confronting him directly. The shift in atmosphere startles Heihachi, leaving him overwhelmed. The group walks together again, slowly restoring trust after the earlier conflict. Group agrees to gather magic stones, though blame and frustration linger. Apologies follow as one admits fault and reflects on unreasonable expectations. Its power offers a new way to reach distant locations quickly. They board the carpet with mixed reactions, then launch into motion. Excitement and doubt blend as the journey officially begins. The landscape shifts to a vast rocky region. Their destination appears ahead as they approach a dark cave entrance. Inside the cave, a swarm of monsters rushes forward. Norl holds the line while the others prepare to retreat. A powerful magic attack strikes, wiping out many enemies at once. They analyze stronger monsters, noting their resistance and danger. A strategy forms to manage them while conserving strength. Heihachi explains the plan, assigning roles carefully. Concerns arise about poison and the risks Norl must face alone. Their journey continues as they search for a safer hunting ground. In the forest, strange creatures appear, but their form and resistance make them unsuitable targets. They travel across a wide landscape, searching for better hunting grounds. Norl considers taking the burden alone if no alternative exists. Doubt and responsibility weigh heavily as the decision approaches. Heihachi responds, refusing to let her push herself unnecessarily. A quiet realization follows as Norl notices his concern. The bond between them deepens, bringing a sense of reassurance. Heihachi reassures Estelle, showing a calmer approach and easing tension. His attitude reflects patience as the group adjusts their pace. The others react with mixed feelings, sensing his kindness while remaining slightly unsettled by his behavior. During a Magic Stone marathon, a girl collapses as a scorpion drops large rewards. Later, she struggles to stand, weakened by continuous magic use while companions watch carefully. Deeper inside the cave, the group moves through dim tunnels, sensing unease without rest. Meanwhile, Heihachi focuses on the Gacha event, excited by increased rates and equipment hunting. Soon, he announces another event, while companions notice his luck shifting toward future trouble. Heihachi plans controlled pulls, limiting attempts while assigning others a few chances. Doubt spreads among the group as they question his sudden restraint and bold claim. Soon after, Norn steps forward, starting her pull with mixed expectation and uncertainty. Unexpected results appear as she obtains rare items, confirming unusual luck in a single try. Excitement builds as the next turn begins, and Estelle prepares to test her fortune. Estelle begins her pull, revealing rare cards as results exceed expectations. Heihachi observes silently, realizing both companions achieved high rarity without difficulty. Determination rises within him as he prepares to prove his own luck. With confidence, he activates the pull and obtains a guaranteed high-tier reward. A calm expression follows. Though his inner excitement shows as the outcome meets his belief, powerful weapon appears, but the result turns out to be a duplicate, shocking the group. Heihachi reacts intensely, unable to hide frustration as others grow uneasy. Tension rises when he denies blame, while the situation around him becomes chaotic. Soon after, he tries to maintain composure as both girls hold on to him. Suspicion follows as his hand moves again, hinting his restraint is already failing. He insists he is not trying again, yet his hand keeps reaching toward the device. Norrell challenges him, suggesting they pull together while sensing his wavering control. Desperation builds as he refuses to stop, convinced the next result will be higher rarity. Emotion overwhelms him, and he pleads uncontrollably for another chance to pull. Finally, both girls restrain him physically, preventing his hand from making another attempt. The girls accept the situation, realizing his obsession cannot be easily stopped. Soon after, they begin together, while Heihachi struggles but gives in to temptation again. A powerful item appears, granting him strong abilities and shifting the outcome. Excitement bursts out as he celebrates, overwhelmed by finally achieving success. In the end, the girls watch calmly, acknowledging that his persistence has paid off. Night settles over the town as Heihachi rests, unaware of anything unusual. Suddenly, Estelle moves close, surprising him as she quietly joins his bed. With shy determination, she stays beside him, revealing her loneliness and desire for closeness. Heihachi faces an unexpected situation as the girl clings close. Expressing a bold desire, she stays close, ignoring his hesitation as tension builds in the quiet room. He resists, weakly overwhelmed by her persistence and the awkward closeness. Her request softens the situation, and his resistance fades. He begins to accept the moment, lying beside her with uncertainty still lingering. As they settle together, the scene shifts again, leaving their fragile calm suddenly interrupted. A sudden noise breaks the calm, and a girl quickly grabs another, holding her tightly. Moments later, she carries the smaller girl away despite the others watching. Inside the room, she embraces her warmly, finding comfort in the closeness. Later, the group gathers again and reflects on their recent efforts. Fatigue shows, leading them to consider taking a break from constant battles. Though uncertain about plans, they accept the pause, allowing a calmer moment to settle in. Heihachi hands over money and suggests the girls go shopping. Their surprise grows as they realize the amount is large. He explains he has other matters to handle and encourages them to enjoy themselves. The girls react with confusion, unsure about the sudden plan, explaining their value and purpose. Understanding spreads as the group accepts his decision. Finally, the girls head out together while he remains behind. Responsibility shifts as they leave. Estelle and her companion walk through the busy street, considering where to go. They stop in front of a clothing shop, examining the display. Doubt appears as simple outfits fail to excite them. Concern rises when expectations clash, and uncertainty shows on their faces, creating a lively moment. Movement and reactions fill the space as they explore different styles. Focus returns as they look through the racks, settling into a quieter pace while deciding. Attention shifts toward improving her appearance, and a new idea quickly forms. Restlessness grows as they anticipate the result, filling the quiet space. Encouragement continues, and curiosity rises about her hidden features. Hesitation lingers, yet the pressure to reveal more remains. A decision is made, and she slowly agrees. Careful movement follows as the moment becomes more serious. The change stands out clearly, leaving a strong impression as the others observe in silence. Norrell stands nervously in her new outfit, adjusting her hair while waiting for a reaction. She recalls a past moment, reflecting on how little attention she received before. Emotion surfaces as she remembers crying and being comforted. That small kindness remains important. Happiness grows as she realizes she was accepted without judgment. Confidence slowly replaces doubt, softening her expression. Energy returns as they consider going outside, ending the moment on a lighter note. They walk through the town together, enjoying a calmer atmosphere. Determination rises as Norrell insists on moving forward confidently. Estelle follows, slightly surprised by the sudden shift in attitude. Norrell rushes ahead at full speed, pulling Estelle along. The street blurs as their pace becomes overwhelming. The sight captures their attention, drawing curiosity and excitement. Exhaustion sets in as Norrell drops to the ground, breathing heavily. The burst of energy fades, leaving Estelle watching over her. They sit together, sharing desserts, as Norrell enjoys the moment while Estelle watches quietly. Okura's party stands celebrated in the arena, their strength and constant victories drawing attention as confetti falls around them. reaching even distant places as curiosity grows among onlookers. A young boy hears the rumors and meets the group, facing them with uncertainty while learning about their rank and status, considering risks and expectations tied to their reputation. Soon after, a request arrives, and the group accepts it, preparing to continue their work despite growing attention. The group realizes dungeon clearing affects rank, prompting them to act immediately despite earlier neglect. They arrive at a quiet swamp marked for a D-rank quest, preparing to handle the frogman subjugation. Careful observation reveals the creature's habitat, and the team advances steadily through the wet terrain. A small frog-like being appears, its harmless look momentarily distracting attention from the mission. Unexpectedly, fascination replaces caution as one member reacts impulsively. The group studies the small creatures closely, noticing their odd behavior while remaining cautious in the swamp, revealing its weak nature which shifts the team's concern into confidence. Plans quickly form as they decide to drain the swamp, ensuring no enemies remain hidden beneath the water. Powerful magic strikes the area, shaking the ground as repeated blasts clear the surroundings completely. Afterward, the task ends smoothly, and the reward leaves the caster satisfied with the outcome. The swamp lies devastated after the attack, leaving the group staring at the altered landscape with unease. From the ruined waters, a large frogman emerges, revealing a far stronger presence than expected. The creature moves quickly, forcing the team to react while maintaining distance and control. A sudden clash follows as the frogman leaps and crashes through the terrain, resisting their attacks. Frustration builds as repeated strikes fail, and determination replaces hesitation while they continue the fight. The frogman avoids every strike, forcing the group to reconsider their approach as frustration begins to rise. A quick plan forms, preparing to control the creature's movement instead of chasing it. Magic launches the target into the air, disrupting its balance and creating an opening for attack. Strong gusts push the creature across the swamp, guiding it directly toward the waiting members. With perfect timing, turning the battle in their favor, through precise coordination, thick smoke spreads as the frogman releases a foul attack. The creature mocks them while the stench worsens, disrupting their focus and slowing their response. Despite the chaos, one member pushes forward, refusing to let the enemy escape again. A precise strike lands, injuring the frogman and breaking its momentum across the swamp. At last, the armored warrior closes in, delivering a decisive blow as the battle reaches its end. The frogman collapses after a final strike, and the group realizes the difficult battle has finally ended. Relief spreads among them as the completed quest confirms their progress, marking success in their promotion task. They arrive at ruined land, accepting a new challenge that demands greater strength. Minotaurs fall quickly under their attacks, showing clear improvement compared to earlier struggles. Suddenly, a stronger presence appears, causing the group to pause as tension rises once again. A powerful minotaur appears, radiating energy, forcing the group to realize a far greater threat awaits. A towering minotaur appears before the group, its immense power forcing hesitation among them. Suddenly, the beast charges forward, closing distance instantly while the party struggles to react. Lone warrior steps, raising a shield to intercept the attack and protect the others. Impact sends shock the field, the defender withstands it, while allies reposition behind him. Electric energy erupts from fighter, striking but recoil leaves his body weakened after attack. The armored fighter crashes forward with a heavy strike, forcing the minotaur back. Sparks fade from the previous attack, revealing the effect is temporary while the team quickly reassesses their situation. A new plan forms as they split roles, one drawing attention while another prepares to strike. Coordinated movements surround the beast blades and impacts landing as it roars under pressure. Sensing weakness, the leader readies a final move while warning his ally to escape the danger. An explosion detonates against the minotaur, the sudden blast shaking its massive body and halting its advance, overwhelming the creature as the attacker maintains control from a distance. Smoke clears briefly, revealing the enemy still standing, while the caster shows confidence after the attack. Without warning, the minotaur retaliates, swinging its weapon with force toward the nearest target, sending a companion flying as the group rushes in, fearing the situation turning worse. A tense warning spreads as the caster prepares a decisive attack, forcing an ally to move aside. Elsewhere, the injured fighter is found among rubble, barely steady while others rush to check his condition. Relief follows briefly as he recovers, regaining strength while confusion about the battle remains. A sudden surge of strange energy fills the field, stopping both sides as an unnatural force appears. Calm determination replaces hesitation as the caster unleashes enhanced power. A blinding movement ends in a distant explosion, leaving only drifting smoke where the clash once stood. Silence returns as the group regathers, checking injuries while the battlefield finally grows calm. A quiet moment follows, concern softens into reassurance as one stays close to comfort the other. Back in town, regret lingers, shaping a promise to avoid losing control again. Relief replaces tension as they reconcile, restoring trust while preparing to move forward together. After returning, the group rests while concern remains about the strain caused by recent abilities. Later, a peaceful moment unfolds as one relaxes indoors, enjoying a quiet and carefree break. A sudden encounter creates tension, drawing attention as expressions shift in unexpected surprise. Emotions overflow dramatically, breaking the calm and turning the moment into chaotic embarrassment. Light teasing follows, easing the situation as they settle into a more relaxed and familiar atmosphere. Confidence returns as one proudly reflects on recent growth, showing satisfaction after overcoming earlier struggles. Relaxed atmosphere forms, with light moments and small joys easing the tension from past battles. Excitement rises as a gift brings unexpected happiness, leading to a burst of affection toward its giver. Attention shifts to unusual items, revealing hidden value that had gone unnoticed before. Realization settles in as their usefulness becomes clear, ending with quiet contentment and renewed appreciation. She clutches gifts happily, then discomfort grows, leaving him confused as her condition suddenly changes. A rare dungeon emerges, filled with powerful monsters and valuable items. The sealed entrance begins to open as pressure builds inside. Heihachi's party advances cautiously into the dungeon. Their formation stays tight, while tension grows with each step forward. The first floor reveals bright surroundings, with walls and floors emitting light. The group observes the unusual environment while continuing deeper. Subtle movement disturbs their focus. Mana flows through the structure, causing surfaces to shimmer as they prepare for danger. A slime appears ahead. Heihachi steps forward, confident in his strength, while the others watch and assess the situation. Heihachi rushes forward and strikes the slime, but the creature suddenly bursts, splashing liquid outward. The knight quickly intervenes, cutting down the threat while warning against careless actions based on appearance. Realization spreads as the slime's acid melts equipment and clothing, revealing its hidden danger and catching the group off guard. Embarrassment follows as Heihachi avoids the truth, while the others question his lack of preparation and awareness. With the situation settled, the party regains focus and proceeds deeper, aiming to reach higher floors where similar enemies await. The party reaches higher floors where new slimes appear, each with different traits. Heihachi struggles to recognize their dangers as fatigue builds. Sudden explosions erupt when bomb slimes react, triggering a chain of blasts. Panic spreads as Heihachi runs, while destruction follows behind him. After escaping, they arrive at the 10th floor, expecting a powerful enemy. Instead, the area feels strangely empty. A device with an arrow catches their attention. The group studies it carefully, unsure of its purpose. Suspicion fades too quickly as curiosity takes over. The knight activates the switch, and mechanisms begin to move around them. The device slows and stops, confusing the group as its purpose remains unclear. Heihachi studies it while the dungeon stays unnervingly quiet. Without warning, the mechanism activates again, drawing attention to hidden changes nearby. The others notice something unusual forming around them. A room filled with monsters appears as the roulette continues spinning. The party keeps testing it, unaware of the growing danger. Suddenly, the space shifts, leaving them in an empty dead end. Confusion spreads as the roulette vanishes completely. Tension rises when the entrance seals shut. Mana thickens in the air as the group prepares for an incoming threat. A sudden flash engulfs the party, distorting the space around them as the dungeon reacts to their actions. Heihachi regains balance and notices a staircase, suspecting it might connect to another floor or reset their position. Frustration builds as the group realizes they have been returned to the same area repeatedly. Determination pushes them to try again. The roulette spins once more, summoning slimes and forcing the party into another chaotic encounter. Exhaustion sets in after countless attempts. The group struggles to understand the trap while the cycle continues without progress. The party recognizes the grand door ahead, realizing they have finally reached the boss room after repeated loops. Confidence rises as they prepare for battle, gathering strength and planning to face whatever waits inside. Caution interrupts their momentum, leading them to assess the enemy first, rather than rushing in blindly. A massive slime reveals itself, far larger and stronger than expected, overwhelming the group with its presence. Doubt replaces confidence as they decide to retreat, but the door suddenly shuts, trapping them inside with the boss. The group reflects on their situation, realizing retreat is no longer possible. The dungeon proves far more difficult than expected. Heihachi hesitates, showing little enthusiasm toward relying on gacha, yet no better solution presents itself. Analysis follows as he identifies their weakness. Despite solid equipment, the party lacks a key role to sustain them. Determination replaces doubt as he prepares to use the gacha system, understanding the risk and unpredictability involved. A plan forms to wait for the right moment, aiming to secure a valuable ally who can support the team in battle. Heihachi explains the risk ahead, realizing the coming battle will be harsher than anything they faced before. Silence spreads as tension rises. Doubt appears on their faces while they struggle to decide their next move. Panic suddenly breaks out when Heihachi realizes he cannot use the gacha at this critical moment. Frustration overwhelms him. With no immediate solution, the team considers retreating again. Uncertainty lingers as they hesitate in place. Exhaustion returns as they sit down, still trapped in the loop. Confusion deepens while Heihachi searches for a way forward. A quiet tension forms as the girl hesitates, sensing something unusual in the air while gathering courage. Suddenly, she leans forward with bright determination, startling the boy as her request becomes unexpectedly intense and direct. Others nearby notice the odd exchange, confusion spreading as they try to understand her behavior and the meaning behind it. She explains her intention seriously, aiming to grow stronger by learning combat, placing responsibility on him despite his uncertainty. Memories of past struggles surface as he reflects on his own limits, while she remains focused, hoping her effort will ease burdens carried by everyone around. Determination replaces hesitation as the girl eagerly pushes forward, ready to begin training despite the boy's lingering doubt. A quiet forest becomes their destination, chosen carefully as a suitable place for practice. Though unease lingers among the group, danger reveals itself through powerful monsters nearby, making the environment far more threatening than expected for simple training. Responsibility shifts onto the girl as she prepares to guide him, aiming to observe and correct his weaknesses during combat. An awkward situation unfolds when his equipment is removed, leaving him shaken and exposed, while uncertainty and discomfort overwhelm his thoughts. A massive bird-like warrior appears before him, turning a simple training plan into a dangerous one-on-one battle he never expected. Details of the enemy reveal overwhelming strength, causing fear to rise as he realizes the gap between them. Despite hesitation, he charges forward, attempting to strike while struggling to keep up with the creature's speed. The opponent counters instantly, landing swift attacks that push him back and expose his lack of skill. Pain and confusion take over as he stumbles, barely able to react, overwhelmed by the brutal difference in power. A painful strike lands as the boy loses balance, his movements turning chaotic while the powerful opponent watches without effort. Observers calmly evaluate the situation, noting countless flaws in his actions while his struggle continues without improvement. Exhaustion spreads across his body, forcing him to the ground, yet the training shows no sign of stopping. Guidance begins as strict analysis outlines every mistake, preparing him for another attempt despite his condition. With renewed effort, he charges again, trying to adjust his focus, though his limited awareness still leaves him vulnerable. Under pressure, the boy swings wildly, ignoring proper defense as strict guidance points out his careless movements and lack of awareness. Fatigue overwhelms him, forcing him to admit his weakness while others acknowledge slight improvement in his effort. Training continues without pause, leaving him collapsed as the expectation to persist becomes clear. Encouragement softens the harsh lesson, giving him a small push to keep trying despite exhaustion. He rises again with determination, noticing something unusual nearby as the group begins to realize a new situation unfolding. A small creature suddenly flees, drawing the attention of nearby warriors as they rush forward in pursuit. The creature tumbles and stops, facing them with fear, while the hunters close in with clear intent. Without hesitation, the warriors strike, overwhelming the fragile target with forceful attacks. A swift counter cuts through the scene as a knight intervenes, stopping the assault and shifting the situation instantly. Ignoring caution, the boy runs ahead alone, while the knight watches closely, concerned about his reckless decision. The small creature stumbles in pain, while the armored girl rushes forward, apologizing as instinct drives her to protect it. Closer inspection reveals deep injuries, leaving the group uncertain as concern grows over whether anything can be done. A solution appears when she presents a powerful potion, offering a chance to heal the wounded creature. Carefully, she helps it recover, her actions gentle as its condition begins to improve. Trust slowly forms as the creature accepts her touch, its fear fading while she reassures it through calm and kindness. The group gathers around the small creature, watching closely as it begins to recover, their attention focused on its condition. More creatures appear, drawn by the kindness shown, surrounding the armored girl with trust and curiosity. Joy spreads as the healed one responds warmly, confirming the potion's success and easing everyone's concern. Before leaving, she offers gentle care once more, while the others notice the creature forming a bond with the boy. A quiet moment follows as it stays close, its expression calm, showing that fear has fully turned into trust. The boy firmly refuses, trying to keep distance as the small creature is held close by the armored girl. Despite his rejection, she insists, presenting the creature carefully while hoping he will reconsider. Its innocent appearance begins to affect him, slowly breaking through his resistance as hesitation turns into conflict. Eventually, he gives in, overwhelmed by emotion, accepting what he tried to deny moments before. Later, the group acknowledges the new bond, welcoming the creature as a companion while moving forward together. A notification appears, signaling a new event as he prepares to use Gacha, hoping to gain powerful allies for upcoming challenges. A girl named Norl reaches forward, inviting attention while holding a small white rabbit. The creature appears lively and unusual. She sits with another girl, gently presenting the rabbit. It is identified as Mafut, a rare Fortuna rabbit believed to bring happiness. A young man observes the animal with curiosity, trying to understand its nature and significance. Later, he checks his phone and finds a Gacha campaign has begun. Hope rises as he prepares to pull for a prized unit. Excitement quickly turns into frustration, realizing poor timing has cost him better chances. The group reviews the event details, realizing they have enough magic stones for multiple pulls. Anticipation builds as the opportunity seems within reach. A serious explanation follows, emphasizing how each attempt now carries greater weight, making every decision more tense. Confidence shifts among them, and one girl steps forward to take the first turn, while the others watch closely. The pull begins, cards scatter rapidly across the screen, revealing results in a chaotic burst. Overwhelmed by the outcome, the young man reacts intensely, feeling both the pressure and the lingering hope for success. The young man grows consumed by excitement, convinced success is near as his confidence rises uncontrollably. A girl finishes her turn and shows the result, revealing a high-rarity pull while he studies the screen with tense focus. Energy surges through him as he takes over, raising his hand and committing to the next attempt without hesitation. Time passes quickly, and resources drop fast, causing his composure to falter under pressure. Determination returns as he reaches forward again, believing that with enough effort, a valuable reward will finally appear. His finger presses the screen, eyes fixed as the moment stretches, tension filling the air. Confidence returns instantly, and he believes the result will follow his expectations without fail. Another high rarity appears, reinforcing his certainty as excitement grows stronger. Suddenly, his expression changes, the momentum breaking as something unexpected interrupts his focus. The others rush toward him in alarm, while he remains frozen, overwhelmed by the sudden shift in events. The young man suddenly collapses, leaving the others shocked as they realize he has stopped breathing. Panic spreads, and his body reacts violently, overwhelmed by the stress from the intense pulling session. Despite the chaos, he recovers slightly and urges the others to continue, placing hope on the next attempts. Norl hesitates under pressure, then accepts the responsibility as everyone watches closely. Result appears, but instead of success, it reveals ordinary items, leaving both of them stunned and uncertain. The young man forces a smile, despite tension, trying to maintain composure while the girl notices his strained behavior. Doubt grows as results continue to disappoint, leading him to consider desperate options to keep going. Norl suggests letting the rabbit take over, shifting attention toward the small creature as a new possibility. Uncertainty lingers, yet he allows it, watching closely as the rabbit prepares to act. With guidance, the rabbit is brought forward and the moment settles into quiet anticipation as everyone waits for the next outcome. The rabbit is placed on the device, and everyone watches as it prepares to act, uncertainty mixing with faint hope. Its small movement triggers the pull, and a glow appears, drawing all attention to the result. A rare priest unit is revealed, shocking the group as the unexpected success confirms the rabbit's influence. Despite the outcome, the young man collapses, in overwhelming emotion, while the others react to both the victory and his strange condition. After many attempts, the group finally succeeds, aided by a strange rabbit, and claims victory. The next day arrives, bringing long-awaited results as a priest joins their party, marking a new step. A boy reflects quietly, acknowledging the outcome while suggesting it was not entirely his effort alone. Soon after, he prepares another summon, raising his device as the others watch with curiosity. Light bursts outward, signaling the summoning. While the group moves forward, recalling a similar moment before, a powerful priestess begins to appear, her presence overwhelming. While the boy feels uneasy about meeting her, suddenly, she emerges fully, moving forward with force as the group reacts in shock to her arrival. Moments later, she descends calmly, composed and radiant, acknowledging the one who summoned her. She introduces herself as Shisuha Alvi, addressing him as her master, while he struggles to respond, regaining composure. The boy finally greets her properly, introducing himself as the others watch closely. The group observes the boy's unusual reaction, noting his distraction, while one girl grows quietly irritated by his behavior. Soon the priestess speaks gently, drawing his attention, yet his flustered response reveals his lack of composure. At once, the irritated girl confronts him, questioning his gaze as he struggles to explain himself. Trying to recover, he gives an awkward excuse, but suspicion lingers, as the others watch the tense exchange. Afterward, the mood softens as introductions begin, with the girls presenting themselves and their companion to the group. The priestess reacts with delight upon seeing the small rabbit, her curiosity replacing her earlier composure. Meanwhile, the boy reflects on being saved by her, as she hesitantly asks to view his status, showing a more vulnerable side caught off guard. He struggles to respond properly when she asks him to address her more casually. Gradually, they agree to drop formalities, though another girl insists on maintaining some distance in tone. Afterward, the priestess checks her abilities, revealing strong stats, while the boy realizes she can immediately support their journey. A girl eagerly steps forward, offering to take responsibility, bringing sudden energy to the group. At the same time, the boy analyzes the priestess's abilities, realizing her strong support role while becoming distracted again. His reaction quickly draws attention, causing tension as one girl moves sharply toward him in response. Moments later, both girls stand before him, their presence overwhelming, while he struggles to remain composed. Suspicion rises as the mood shifts, and one of them closely questions him, sensing that he is hiding something. The priestess smiles warmly, easing the tension, while the boy struggles to explain himself under pressure. Soon, the group questions his behavior, suspecting doubt, but one girl defends him, urging trust instead. Afterward, she apologizes to the priestess, who accepts calmly, while another quietly admits her earlier suspicion. The atmosphere softens further, as the boy acknowledges her sincerity, recognizing her calming presence within the group. In the end, they unite with renewed trust, deciding to move forward together as the priestess pledges her support. Heihachi hesitated as a girl casually approached, suggesting they share a bed. Shock spread across his face while he struggled to process the situation. Later, lodging issues forced him into a room with 3 girls, surrounding him on the bed. Pressure built as he realized there was no escape. Suddenly, he reacted strongly, insisting such closeness was improper, trying to hold on to his sense of reason. Confusion followed, as the girls misunderstood his reaction and tested his resolve further. In the end, they pressed him for a decision, leaving him overwhelmed. Pressure mounted as the girls demanded an answer, leaving the boy cornered with no way to avoid choosing. Panic filled his thoughts while he searched for the safest option, weighing outcomes that could minimize trouble. A forced decision followed as he pointed toward one choice, masking his anxiety with a strained expression. Shock spread instantly across the chosen girl's face, unable to comprehend his unexpected answer. Tension broke when anger replaced confusion, driving her to chase him while he fled in fear. The next day, the boy walked beside Okura through the capital, apologizing while she calmly reassured him. Despite delays, their journey continued without urgency. Soon after, the others joined, suggesting they enjoy the day together. A relaxed mood formed as they agreed to deepen their bond. Concern arose when clothing became an issue, yet he dismissed it, unwilling to trouble them further. Plans shifted quickly as they decided to shop, while one girl focused more on food than anything else. Later, new outfits changed their appearance, and the group spent the day exploring, eating, and enjoying the city together. A quiet moment followed as the group reflected on recent events, noting how the small rabbit had unexpectedly gained attention. Conversation continued while they walked, recognizing the creature as something special, drawing curiosity from others nearby. Suddenly, a child's cry echoed through the street after a fall, shifting the group's attention toward the disturbance. Concern rose instantly, prompting them to rush over, urgency replacing their earlier calm as they approached the injured child. Kneeling beside him, one girl gently treated the wound, a soft glow appearing as the child's pain eased. Kneeling beside the child, the girl gently checked his injury, ensuring the pain had faded. A warm smile followed, her kindness calming him further. Gratitude replaced fear, and the moment softened the atmosphere around them. From a distance, the others observed quietly, recognizing her compassion. Respect grew as they acknowledged her natural role in helping others. As they walked again, appreciation was expressed toward her efforts, while the group shifted focus toward enjoying the rest of the day. Happiness lingered within her, feeling valued and content. Meanwhile, the boy reflected on her sincerity, realizing the depth of her gentle nature. Doubt lingered as one girl questioned Estelle's judgment, yet another defended her, believing there was nothing suspicious about her actions. A loud cheer suddenly echoed through the street, drawing everyone's attention toward a growing crowd nearby. At the center, a muscular man challenged onlookers, offering a reward to anyone who could defeat him in a strength contest. The group observed cautiously, recognizing it as a test of power, while hesitation remained among them. Determination slowly formed as one girl clenched her fist, considering the challenge despite the overwhelming opponent. Confidence surfaced as the girl stepped forward, calmly declaring her intent to take on the challenge, despite the overwhelming opponent. Moments later, she faced the muscular man, her composure steady, while the group watched with concern from behind. Unease lingered as the man underestimated her, yet she maintained focus, preparing herself for what was about to begin. The match started, and to everyone's surprise, her strength held firm against his, drawing cheers from the surrounding crowd. Strain appeared on the man's face as the balance shifted, leaving onlookers stunned at the unexpected turn. Tension grew as the crowd noticed something strange, the man's arm trembling uncontrollably while confusion spread among the onlookers. Suddenly, overwhelming force drove his arm down, shocking everyone as the girl's strength crushed his resistance in an instant. Calmly, she declared her victory while the defeated man sat stunned, unable to comprehend what had just happened. Cheers erupted across the area, the crowd celebrating the unexpected outcome as excitement replaced disbelief. Pride shone in her expression as she held the reward, while the others realized her strength far exceeded their expectations. A new quest begins as the group prepares to hunt kobolds. The knight stands among them as a fresh member. Suddenly, the armored knight rushes forward at full speed. His heavy steps shake the ground, drawing attention from the rest of the team. The others question his movement and equipment. His bulky armor seems difficult to manage, raising concern about his effectiveness. He proudly reveals powerful gear gained from Gacha. Each piece greatly boosts defense, making him stand out despite reduced agility. He accepts the tank role. Limited vision becomes a trade-off, yet his defense allows him to guard the team confidently. Kobolds appear in the forest, armed and alert. The armored knight charges ahead, drawing their focus as the ground trembles beneath his steps. Attacks strike his armor, yet the blows fail to break through. Cracks form nearby, but his defense holds, forcing the enemies back. After the clash, he reflects while the others observe. His role as a shield becomes clear, though caution is still advised. More kobolds gather from the surroundings. Stronger variants emerge, turning the situation into a larger battle. The team prepares to eliminate them. Confidence rises as they advance together, ready to secure victory and claim rewards. The knight steps forward and shields the group. Attacks clash around him while his allies strike from behind, keeping pressure on the kobolds. A sudden counterattack hits his helmet. The impact spins his head, leaving him briefly disoriented as an enemy closes in. His balance breaks, and he crashes onto the ground. The heavy armor slows his recovery, forcing him to struggle to stand. Darkness fills his view inside the helmet. Confusion spreads as he fails to see the battlefield clearly. Meanwhile, Shisuha becomes exposed to danger. Enemies surround her, as the team realizes the situation is quickly worsening. The knight quickly removes his helmet, regaining his vision. Relief spreads as he looks toward his ally, confirming her safety after the sudden danger. Group regathers and checks each other. Confusion fades while they confirm the enemies have been handled, and no one is seriously injured. Shisuha shows appreciation as the moment settles. Time passes, and her growth becomes clear as she rises in rank and strength. Training resumes in a new area. The team prepares for another hunt, setting their sights on stronger enemies ahead. Excitement builds among them. With renewed confidence, they move forward together, ready to face the next challenge. Shisuha expresses her desire to fight, showing genuine determination. Her resolve surprises the others as they listen closely. The group discusses their next target. Plans shift when she insists on facing regular enemies alongside the knight. She explains her reasoning clearly. Training under pressure will strengthen his role as a tank while surrounded by threats. The decision settles, and preparation begins. The knight accepts the situation, though uncertainty lingers in his stance. Doubt grows within him. Protecting Shisuha in real combat feels risky, yet he steels himself to fulfill his duty. The knight steels his resolve, determined to protect Shisuha at any cost. Concern drives him to act carefully despite the growing danger. Shisuha steps in and offers guidance. She encourages him to stay calm and carefully watch the enemy's movements. She explains patterns in combat. By reading slight shifts, one can predict where the enemy will move next. Understanding begins to form within him. Though difficult, He realizes improvement is possible through steady training. Confidence returns as Shisuha reassures him. Together, they prepare to face future battles with better coordination and trust. The knight tightens his grip and moves forward with focus. Determination replaces hesitation as he prepares to face the incoming threat. Shisuha casts her support while enemies close in. The team reacts quickly, positioning themselves as the attack begins. Eagle warchiefs descend with speed. Their strikes crash against the knight, yet he endures and counters to hold the line. One enemy activates a powerful skill. Its speed surges, turning the battle more dangerous in an instant. The knight observes carefully, despite the pressure. Reading the movement becomes crucial as he steadies himself to protect the team. Enemy rushes in with overwhelming speed. Shisuha urges calm as the knight focuses, carefully tracking the movement instead of reacting blindly. At the right moment, he swings with precision. His attack cuts through the air, meeting the fast-moving target. The strike connects, sending the enemy crashing to the ground. Dust rises as the impact confirms his success. Relief spreads across the group. His achievement surprises everyone as they recognize his improvement. Praise follows as the team reflects on the moment. Shisuha's guidance proves effective, strengthening both his skill and confidence. The group pauses as Shisuha proudly shows her growth. Her confidence rises, while the others acknowledge her progress and growing ability. Soon after, she charges ahead with energy training, intensifies as the team follows, preparing to face stronger enemies together. Subtle movements reveal hidden weapons activating, while tension builds through the stillness of the scene. Elsewhere, a grand mansion rises, suggesting a shift from danger to comfort. The setting reflects stability and wealth, contrasting the earlier unease. Inside, a group gathers around a table, discussing recent hunts. Their expressions show mild boredom, hinting that routine battles no longer challenge them. A suggestion to change targets disrupts the calm, causing a sudden reaction. The idea introduces uncertainty and forces reconsideration of their current strength. Concern follows as the group reflects on past struggles. Despite growth, hesitation lingers, revealing doubt about facing a more dangerous opponent. A healer reassures the group, explaining that recovery is possible even after severe injuries. Far away, a massive horned creature stands in a barren land, radiating power. The group faces it, and hesitation appears as past fears begin to resurface. Preparation begins as equipment is distributed carefully. Each item enhances survival, showing a shift toward strategy before engaging the threat. The armored fighter steps forward, activating a special ability. Strength rises, yet control seems unstable, creating concern among the others. Despite doubts, the team advances together. Determination replaces fear as they commit to confronting the powerful enemy as a united group. The battle begins as the horned beast charges forward. A knight moves quickly to intercept, while the healer stays behind, maintaining distance from the incoming threat. A heavy clash follows as weapons strike the creature's body. Forceful impacts shake the ground. Momentum shifts when the knight launches repeated blows, driving the beast back. Each strike lands with precision, gradually pushing the enemy into a defensive state. Anger rises within the creature as it roars loudly. Its movements grow more violent, signaling a dangerous escalation in strength. Despite the surge, the knight adapts and avoids incoming attacks. Training proves effective, allowing controlled movements while continuing to pressure the beast. A sudden realization strikes the healer as her expression tightens. Unease spreads, sensing that the battle is turning in an unexpected direction. Moments later, the beast launches a fast attack. A sharp spinning force cuts through the air, forcing the knight to react under pressure. Close combat intensifies as the knight counters at the last moment. The clash brings them face to face, revealing the danger of a single mistake. The knight is pushed back, showing that the enemy's strength remains overwhelming. Silence settles briefly as the warrior struggles on the ground. The towering creature looms above, while the healer rushes forward, driven by urgency. As the knight struggles, another warrior charges in without hesitation. Energy crackles around her movements. With precise timing, she delivers a powerful strike to the beast's head. The impact lands cleanly, forcing the creature off balance. A heavy explosion follows as the monster is driven into the ground. Debris scatters while the team watches the unexpected turn of the fight. The attacker continues relentlessly, chaining kicks and punches. Each blow keeps the enemy from recovering, steadily overwhelming its resistance. Calm returns briefly as the knight observes her actions. Admiration forms quietly, recognizing her strength and unwavering resolve in battle. A quiet realization settles in as the knight reflects on his past hesitation. Awareness grows, pushing him to face the truth he had avoided. Across the battlefield, the priestess stands with overwhelming presence. Her stance reveals a hidden strength. far beyond what was once assumed. Relief replaces tension as she smiles, her energy calming the situation. The danger fades, leaving only the aftermath of the intense clash. She approaches the injured knight with concern, checking his condition carefully. Embarrassment and honesty follow as she explains her actions. Instinct guided her movements, revealing growth that even she did not fully understand, noticing subtle changes in the priestess. Suspicion rises as her behavior no longer matches her usual gentle image. Soon after, she reveals a bold intent toward nearby enemies. The others react with unease, realizing her restraint has faded, and a new side has emerged. A cheerful girl lounges comfortably, expressing pure satisfaction after eating, while the protagonist observes her unusual joy and carefree attitude. He approaches as she proudly shows her carefree nature about food, drawing his attention, while others nearby react with mild curiosity. Time passes in a refined setting where the group gathers, and the girl, now acting as a maid, serves tea as her status quietly improves. Despite her gentle behavior, a hint of change appears, suggesting a different side of her during battles, noticed by those around her. Heihachi decides to continue using the gacha, aiming to expand the team further. He reacts dramatically when reminded about the gacha, gripping his phone as excitement quickly replaces any hesitation. A new notification appears, revealing a special bonus that guarantees a high-rank summon, drawing everyone's attention. Understanding the reward, he confidently explains the benefit, seeing a rare opportunity to strengthen the group. Doubt briefly surrounds the decision, yet Heihachi leans toward action, choosing not to miss the chance, despite the risks. With rising enthusiasm, he commits fully, lifting his phone and initiating the pull, determined to reach a better outcome. Heihachi collapses back in disappointment after a poor result, while others observe his reaction with little surprise. The phone screen reveals numerous low-value items, confirming the outcome of the gacha and drawing quiet attention from the group. Interest still lingers among the girls, as curiosity about the system grows, despite the failed attempt. A premium SSR ticket remains unused, and Heihachi clutches it tightly, hinting at a stronger opportunity ahead. Determination returns as he rises again, refusing to stop, preparing to continue the gacha with renewed resolve. A radiant chest appears from the gacha, glowing intensely as everyone reacts in shock, while Heihachi stares in disbelief at the unexpected result. The reward reveals a UR-ranked unit named Norl, catching attention with its rare status and unusual appearance. Confusion spreads as the result resembles someone already present, raising questions about duplication within the group. The girl panics at the possibility of being replaced, unsure how to respond as uncertainty fills the room. Soon after, attention shifts to small creatures, easing the tension as their presence brings a calmer, lighter mood. Two identical girls celebrate their existence, showing confidence while acknowledging their shared identity without hesitation. Heihachi observes their closeness as they embrace naturally, while small creatures gather nearby, adding a calm presence. Attention shifts when a small creature approaches, prompting both girls to reach for it at the same time. Tension rises as they pull in opposite directions, each refusing to let go, turning the moment into a struggle. The conflict escalates into a direct confrontation, their identical expressions reflecting rivalry as Heihachi watches the situation unfold. Two identical girls prepare to clash, their presence shaking the room as Heihachi rushes forward, trying to stop them. Impact spreads through the surroundings, forcing Heihachi to intervene while holding a small creature, desperate to prevent further chaos. Zone of the girls leans close, pressing him for answers, leaving him flustered and unable to respond properly. The group regains composure as Heihachi explains the situation, raising the question of whether another identical member should exist. Calm returns when the girl accepts his judgment, placing the decision in his hands with quiet trust. Heihachi reflects on his bond with Norl, recalling she was his first summon and someone he has relied on since the beginning. With firm resolve, he rejects the idea of replacing her, choosing to value their connection over gaining more power. A new option appears on the device, offering to convert the duplicate into strength instead of summoning another. The group reacts with surprise as the possibility of strengthening Norl becomes clear. Shifting the focus from duplication to growth, Norl accepts the decision calmly, stepping forward with determination as Heihachi prepares to proceed with strengthening her. Energy surges outward as Heihachi activates the strengthening process, surrounding Norl in a sudden wave of force. Her body reacts immediately, movements becoming unstable as she struggles to understand the overwhelming sensation. The intensity grows, spreading through her entire body, leaving her unable to control the change, while Heihachi watches in shock. In an instant, her form shifts into armored gear, signaling the completion of the enhancement. Excitement replaces confusion as Norl embraces her new power, eagerly preparing to head out and test her strengthened abilities. A large adventurers' guild stands crowded as members move through the hall. Estelle arrives with companions, noticing unusual activity around the entrance. Showing familiarity while others observe quietly, attention gathers around Estelle as she remains composed. Confusion appears when recognition fails, creating an awkward pause. Nearby, reactions differ, with some amused and others indifferent. Another member questions Estelle's role, while the man reflects on his situation. The group dynamic shifts slightly as tension eases. A new girl introduces herself politely, bringing a calmer mood. Her arrival signals a fresh addition to the party. The group greets the newcomer politely, while a sharp gaze notices every detail. Subtle tension forms as expressions shift. Embarrassment spreads when attention lingers too long. Attempts to explain only deepen the awkward atmosphere. Another girl introduces herself nervously, adding to the growing circle. Meanwhile, suspicion rises as someone reacts strongly from the side. Suddenly, a dark armored figure grabs the man, interrupting everything. Shock replaces the earlier mood. Recognition follows as the figure reveals familiarity. Confusion turns into surprise while the strange appearance raises new questions. The armored man questions the strange outfit, while another explains the role of a tank. Doubt remains despite the reasoning. Warnings follow as the risks of wearing such gear become clear. Even allies seem unconvinced by the decision. Elsewhere, Estelle is surrounded by attention, drawing admiration from the girls. Their closeness contrasts with the earlier tension. A stern figure confronts another member, pressing him about responsibility. Pressure builds as expectations are raised sharply. Moments later, chaos erupts when enthusiasm turns excessive. The group watches as the situation becomes loud and difficult to control. Shishua watches the group from afar, intrigued by their interaction. Interest grows as she considers approaching them. A new girl arrives and notices the crowded scene. Surprise spreads as she realizes everyone has already gathered. The group shifts toward the counter, organizing themselves. Assistance is offered, though hesitation remains among some members. An urgent request is announced, drawing full attention. Concern rises as details about unusual monster activity are revealed. Confusion follows the explanation, especially regarding unfamiliar terms. Uncertainty lingers. While the group prepares to understand the situation, information about great subjugations is revealed, showing powerful monsters capable of causing severe destruction. The scale of danger becomes clear. A map is presented, outlining the target area and the expected enemy presence. The mission details emphasize coordination between parties. Questions arise regarding strange anomalies, increasing concern among the group. Uncertainty grows as the situation appears more complex. A terrifying figure is described, representing recent abnormal sightings. The threat feels more real as reports confirm unusual monster activity. Determination replaces hesitation as the group accepts the request. Resolve forms while they prepare to face the upcoming challenge. The party leaves the city walls and enters an open field, moving together toward their destination. Excitement rises among the girls as they stay close to Estelle. Confidence builds while others promise to support and protect her. As they continue walking, conversation shifts to experience and past battles. Curiosity spreads as one member seeks to understand their strength. Attention turns briefly when someone moves ahead. The group watches, unsure of what will happen next. Determination returns as a girl steps forward, ready to demonstrate her abilities. The team prepares to witness her skill. A pack of monsters suddenly charges toward the group, closing the distance rapidly. The team prepares as danger arrives without warning. Meguru moves forward and releases a barrage of arrows. Each strike hits precisely, causing multiple enemies to explode on impact. Shock spreads across the group as the monsters are instantly defeated. The result feels unexpected, given the overwhelming speed. Questions arise as Meguru explains her usual attack method. Doubt lingers about why the outcome was far stronger than normal. Observation continues as the group reflects on the strange reaction. Suspicion grows that something unusual is affecting their abilities. A hidden ability is revealed, showing a skill that enhances the entire party. Realization spreads that its effect reaches beyond one person. The strategist begins forming a plan, recognizing the value of teamwork. Confidence grows as he considers how to use the advantage. An idea develops to increase rewards by sharing opportunities. Calculation replaces uncertainty as benefits become clearer. The proposal is explained to the group, gaining support quickly. Agreement forms as members see the potential outcome. Trust is established between both sides, sealing cooperation. Days later, the combined party continues their journey with renewed purpose. From a cliff, the group witnesses a massive horde advancing, Fear rises as the great subjugation begins, and battle becomes unavoidable. A large pack of wolf-like monsters advances across the field. The group appears unusually big, drawing concern from the adventurers observing from a distance. Heihachi listens, while the others explain that such numbers often mean a core monster leads them. A plan forms quickly. They decide to eliminate the threat in a single decisive strike before it spreads further damage across the area. Magic is activated, releasing a sudden surge of power. Energy gathers and bursts outward. Among the enemies, larger variants stand out. Big and red kobolds appear, confirming the presence of rare and dangerous monsters within the horde. Heihachi realizes the opportunity to gather valuable drops from the monsters. Magic energy begins to flow. As support power is prepared, Estelle's support magic spreads through the team, boosting their abilities. The effect raises their confidence, while the sudden surge of power surprises even the frontline fighters. Preparations conclude as roles are assigned. Heihachi stays cautious, trusting his allies while ensuring everyone is ready for the coming clash. The entire group moves forward together. Formation tightens as they charge, combining strength and coordination for a decisive strike. Attacks land rapidly, sending enemies flying as the team overwhelms the monsters. With force and momentum, the team regroups as support magic continues to enhance their abilities. Confidence rises while they prepare to push forward against the remaining monsters. Heihachi advances calmly through the battlefield. Enemies are struck down one after another, yet he judges the situation as manageable. Despite the ongoing pressure, nearby Nori fights with precision, cutting through foes with controlled strength. Observers begin to notice that her true capability may exceed expectations. Attention shifts toward her restrained demeanor. Even with praise directed at her, she remains composed, showing only a fraction of her full power. The abrupt movement disrupts the flow, drawing concern as the battle grows more unpredictable. Heihachi checks the results during the fight and notices something wrong. Despite defeating monsters, the magic stone count does not increase. Concern spreads among the group as they regroup briefly. Attention shifts toward the battlefield, sensing an unusual condition affecting the rewards. A massive kobold lord reveals itself in the distance. Its presence confirms a powerful leader controlling the horde and influencing the entire battle. Numbers exceed expectations, and the risk of facing such enemies directly becomes increasingly dangerous. A decision is left to Okura. Heihachi waits, knowing whether to continue or retreat will determine the group's survival. The group considers withdrawing, but the situation remains uncertain. Heihachi listens as others weigh the risk of leaving the battlefield to the remaining fighters. Doubt grows as exhaustion spreads, and the enemy pressure continues. Retreat could endanger nearby villages. Confidence returns as allies step forward. Nori and the others show readiness, assuring they can still handle the threat despite their condition. The team prepares to strike together, beginning with powerful magic to reduce enemy numbers before targeting the leader. Explosions rain down across the battlefield. The attack crashes into the monster horde, shaking the ground and disrupting their advance. An explosion erupts as the attack lands, catching Dias off guard. Heihachi reacts quickly. Nori rushes forward with speed, pushing enemies back. She shifts position to protect the rear, keeping the formation from collapsing under pressure. The kobold lord steps in, drawing its weapon with clear intent. Its presence dominates the field. Heihachi moves ahead despite the warning. Nori follows closely, unwilling to let him face the threat alone as the distance between them and the enemy narrows. A sudden strike crashes down from above. The impact spreads across the ground, forcing the group to react as the battle reaches a critical point. Heihachi is suddenly blown away by a powerful force. His body is thrown into the air, leaving him unable to regain control as the danger escalates. The others notice his situation, realizing he may not survive the impact without help. Nori appears in an instant, catching him mid-air. Wings spread wide as she stabilizes their descent. She continues flying while carrying him, maintaining control despite the strain. The group below watches, understanding that her strength has reached a new level. A radiant aura surrounds Nori as she attacks from above. Her enhanced power cuts through the monsters, shifting the momentum of the battle. The kobold lord summons additional allies, increasing the pressure on the battlefield. More enemies gather. Nori descends from above and clashes directly with the leader. Her strike cuts through the incoming enemies, pushing toward the core target. A powerful exchange unfolds as her blade meets the kobold lord. The impact drives through its defense, forcing the massive creature backward. The battlefield suddenly quiets after the clash. Heihachi notices something unusual, sensing that the situation may not be fully resolved. Nori lowers her guard as the effect of her power begins to fade. The others gather nearby, preparing for what comes next as the fight transitions onward. A young man spots a strange armored girl rushing toward the group, confusion spreads as her sudden appearance disrupts their calm surroundings. Moments later, the girl unleashes overwhelming power, wiping out approaching kobolds with ease. Her strength leaves the others stunned. After the battle, a reward is presented as proof of the subjugation, confirming the victory over the kobold leader. A large sum of coins appears, shocking the young man as the value exceeds expectations. The group gathers to decide the distribution, while the leader calmly offers the entire reward, leaving him surprised. Gratitude fills the group as they credit the others for the successful subjugation. Refusal follows, as they insist the effort was shared. Recognition of each role emerges, highlighting protection and teamwork. The outcome is seen as a result of combined strength rather than individual effort. The young man offers half of the reward, showing fairness. Acceptance comes with a calm decision, balancing the exchange. A new proposal arises as the leader suggests staying together. Surprise appears on the young man's face. Scenes shift to the city, where preparations begin to celebrate the completed subjugation. Celebration begins as the group gathers around a table, raising mugs together. Food is quickly devoured, showing their relief after the battle. Generosity is shown when the leader covers all expenses, encouraging everyone to enjoy the feast without worry. Appetite grows uncontrollable, especially for the armored girl, who continues eating with unstoppable energy. The mood softens as one member becomes cheerful from drinking, drawing attention to the young man. A quieter moment follows, where the two sit together, sharing drinks as the lively celebration continues around them. The mood shifts as the girl clings closely to the young man, overwhelming him while the others watch with mixed reactions. Her playful behavior escalates, turning into a tight embrace that leaves him flustered and unable to respond. Pressure increases as she presses against him, causing panic while she remains carefree and amused. Elsewhere, the group comments lightly, treating the situation as harmless while observing his struggle. The teasing continues, as she insists on staying close, prolonging his discomfort while the others simply look on. A sudden presence interrupts the scene, creating tension as two girls appear behind the group, their expressions shifting the mood instantly. Embarrassment follows as one girl realizes her behavior and quickly pulls away, trying to regain composure. Attention turns to the young man, who is quietly offered food. Care is shown as someone notices he has not eaten. The atmosphere calms, and the two sit together, sharing a simple moment, while the celebration continues around them. Energy rises again when more food is announced, drawing everyone back into the lively gathering. Celebration ends as the bill is revealed, showing a massive cost. Despite it, the group remains satisfied after the feast. Responsibility is shared when payment is discussed, with both sides insisting on covering their part equally. Goodbyes begin as emotions surface, and bonds formed during the journey become clear among the group. Promises for the future are expressed through determination, as each member reflects on what lies ahead. The group parts ways outside, offering gratitude while acknowledging the encounter could have been far worse without teamwork. Farewells are exchanged as both sides promise support if needed. Mutual respect remains after their shared experience. The group waves goodbye, marking the end of their time together as they prepare to go separate ways. While leaving, the girl struggles to walk steadily, showing the effects of the celebration as the young man supports her. Fatigue takes over, and she begins to drift into sleep while leaning against him. A calmer moment follows as they pause, reflecting on the night, with her recovering slightly from the earlier excitement. Tense moment arises as one girl recalls earlier behavior, pressing closer while another grows uneasy, creating quiet discomfort. Outside, the group moves through the street, but unease lingers as the young man senses something unusual among them. Soon after, a reward is revealed, marking the subjugation success, and shifting attention toward the outcome of their efforts. Subjugation and receives no notifications at first. Soon after, a new stage unlocks, signaling fresh opportunities inside the mansion. A sudden alert appears on his device. Heihachi reacts with excitement as the gacha system activates, drawing attention from the girls nearby. Rewards are granted, including cost reduction and magic stones. Heihachi studies the benefit while others observe, unsure if the change will greatly affect future summons. Attention shifts to a particular item. One girl questions its use, while Heihachi hesitates, uncertain about its purpose. He considers its principles, comparing rare monsters and resources gained through gacha. Heihachi stands before everyone and proposes a special event. The idea of a Heihachi festival begins to form, drawing attention from the group. He explains the rules clearly. Each person will roll the gacha once, making it a shared activity rather than his alone. Doubt spreads among the group about the system's fairness. Heihachi acknowledges the concern, but decides the event should proceed despite the risks. Interest grows as one girl eagerly asks to participate, Heihachi agrees and chooses her to begin the event. Shishua holds the device with anticipation. Excitement fills her expression as she prepares to experience the gacha for the first time, activates the gacha, and items scatter around her. Various low-rank rewards appear, surprising the group as the result feels underwhelming. Heihachi observes calmly at first, but tension rises as Shishua moves again toward the device. Others react with concern, sensing she may act impulsively. Suddenly, Heihachi steps in and stops her. His movement is quick, preventing another attempt before things escalate further. Shishua struggles as she is held back. The situation becomes chaotic, with her effort to continue clashing against Heihachi's control. Calm returns after the interruption. Heihachi regains composure, while Shishua settles down, and the group prepares to continue the event carefully. The group continues the event as multiple girls try the gacha. Items scatter again, bringing mixed reactions. While the results remain mostly ordinary, discussion follows about the outcome. Despite effort, only one high-rank result appears, leaving the group slightly disappointed but still engaged. Confidence rises within Heihachi. He believes his own attempt will surpass the others, trusting his accumulated experience and strength. Soon after, frustration takes over. The expected result does not appear, causing him to lose composure while the others watch. Determination returns despite failure. Heihachi considers another attempt, hoping a better outcome will follow the previous result. Heihachi ends up restrained after his outburst. Beside him, Shishua sits quietly, both forced to reflect on the situation. The group refuses his request to roll again. Instead, they insist he accept the punishment, while others question the fairness of the decision. Time passes as Heihachi admits fault. Gradually, the tension eases, and the group considers releasing him from restraint. A new condition is proposed. One girl demands the gacha items in exchange, shifting the focus from punishment to negotiation. The mood softens as sweets are shared. Everyone relaxes, enjoying the moment together after the earlier conflict. Heihachi reviews the latest results and notices a house-related item. The reward seems useful, yet its condition limits its immediate value. Discussion shifts toward their finances. With enough money from recent battles, the idea of purchasing a house becomes realistic. Heihachi reflects on his past life. Owning a home was never something he considered before arriving in this world. A large house stands before them. The group gathers outside as Heihachi quietly takes in the moment of achieving something new. Confidence settles in as he makes a decision. Heihachi resolves to buy a house and begins planning their next step. Heihachi walks through the city with one companion. The surroundings feel new as they move away from their usual group. She stays close to him while they continue together. The outing feels different, as it is their first time going alone without the others. Heihachi tries to act normal, despite feeling uneasy. Meanwhile, she remains cheerful, guiding the pace as they head toward their destination. They arrive at a property office. Heihachi states his intention to buy a house, shifting the trip into something serious. Details are discussed with the agent. Preferences are shared as they consider location and type, beginning the process of choosing a home. Heihachi reviews housing options with the agent. A larger detached home suitable for several people is suggested, aligning with his needs. The discussion turns to cost. The required amount is revealed, far exceeding what Heihachi expected, causing tension to rise. Reality settles in as he checks his funds. With only part of the required money available, Heihachi realizes reaching the next step will not be easy. In the royal capital, the group rests while considering their limited funds. Buying a house there feels unrealistic. So a new idea begins to form. They decide to search for a house in Brunn, agreeing it suits their situation. The direction of their journey is now set. Preparation follows as the group readies for departure. The destination remains unfamiliar to some. Memories of a past carriage ride cause visible distress for one member. The thought of repeating that experience brings discomfort and resistance. Despite her reaction, reassurance emerges. The leader presents a solution, offering confidence that this journey will be handled differently. A wide view of the capital fades as the group departs, riding a floating carpet across the landscape. During the journey, the leader checks the map application, estimating several days to reach Brunn. Travel continues with brief stops along the way. One companion trains with energy, while later the group rests together at night, recovering strength beside a campfire. After days of movement, a new town comes into view. Buildings stretch across the horizon, signaling their arrival in Brunn. Stepping into the calm streets, the group observes the peaceful surroundings. A sense of comfort settles in as they consider this place a potential home. The group reaches Brunn, where a peaceful town spreads beneath the mountains. Fatigue settles in after the long journey, leading them to postpone house hunting. Rest becomes the priority before making any decisions. Its price appears surprisingly affordable, drawing their attention despite its simple condition. Entering inside, they discover an empty space with no furniture. Light fills the room, yet the lack of basic necessities becomes immediately clear. Inspection continues. As small issues are noticed throughout the house, rather than turning away, they accept the flaws and begin planning to clean and restore it together. Cleaning begins with enthusiasm, as one member prepares to use wind magic to remove dust. Control proves difficult, causing a sudden burst that disrupts the room. The group halts the attempt, choosing safer methods instead, and dividing the work among themselves. Effort spreads across the house as each person focuses on a task. Dusting, wiping, and sweeping gradually bring order to the interior. Outside, overgrown weeds demand attention. The leader struggles through the thick growth, realizing the scale of work required. Time passes as steady progress is made. Though the task remains large, persistence begins to transform the house into a livable space. A sudden cry echoes through the house, breaking the calm atmosphere. Tension rises instantly as something unexpected begins to occur nearby. The group reacts in alarm, rushing toward the source of the disturbance. Confusion spreads as they try to understand what caused the scream. One member clings to the leader while pointing out a strange presence. Fear intensifies as the object lifts into the air and darts around the room. Its erratic movement makes it difficult to track or avoid. Without hesitation, a powerful strike is launched to eliminate the threat. The attack shatters part of the house. The small black creature darts forward at high speed, slipping past defenses and heading straight toward one of the girls. Moments later, panic erupts as she realizes the creature has entered her body. Fear overwhelms her as she struggles to explain what happened. The leader freezes, unable to decide how to respond to the situation. Confusion and urgency collide as the danger becomes unclear. Desperation takes over while she tries to force it out, moving frantically. The others react with alarm, unsure how to help without making things worse. Another member steps in and embraces her firmly, attempting to calm her down. Relief spreads when it is revealed to be nothing more than a simple cockroach. Understanding follows, as the group realizes the problem may not be over. The possibility of more hidden pests creates unease among them. Fear quickly escalates, causing everyone to panic at the thought of an infestation. Their reactions grow exaggerated as tension fills the room again. Desperation rises as they call for help, worried the situation could spiral further. Even the house itself feels like part of the problem. Now, cleaning proves far more difficult than expected, turning a simple task into a tiring struggle. After finishing the cleaning, the group reflects on the unpleasant experience with pests. Attention shifts as the leader brings out a device, preparing to use a new feature. A need for better living conditions pushes them forward. Excitement grows as they decide to try improving the house instead of searching elsewhere. Gathering together, they confirm their choice and activate the function. Energy surrounds the house as the process begins. Confusion spreads as they stand inside, unsure whether the attempt succeeded. Heihachi returns to the house with his companions, observing the unchanged interior while doubt lingers about the outcome. A system interface appears after scanning, revealing a completed process and confirming success, shifting the group's uncertainty into relief. Studies his device as new information explains that gacha items can be converted into points for expansion. The cost of upgrading rooms becomes clear, showing that each addition requires a large amount of accumulated points. Understanding grows as options form, where rooms can be built using points or excess items, shaping their next steps. Heihachi converts items into points, and a bright door suddenly forms inside the house, surprising everyone. The newly created space reveals a completed room, and the group carefully steps inside to inspect the result. Outside, the house appears unchanged, causing confusion as the expansion cannot be seen from the exterior. They realize the structure exists in a separate dimensional space, allowing the interior to grow without affecting the outside. With the system understood, Heihachi decides to use the house as a base, while continuing to expand and improve it. Heihachi begins expanding the base, assigning separate rooms for each companion as the interior structure steadily grows. Furniture is arranged and the layout becomes organized, marking the completion of the current expansion phase. A request arises for a new facility, drawing attention to the need for a proper bathing space. Heihachi accepts the idea and prepares another upgrade, confirming that the system can support a bathroom addition. Soon after, the bath is completed, and the group gathers inside, experiencing the comfort of their newly built space. The newly built bath is used, and the group enjoys the warm water, appreciating the success of the expansion. While relaxing, small concerns arise as they adjust to bathing together, creating a slightly uneasy atmosphere. Encouragement follows, and they gradually become more comfortable with the shared space. Meanwhile, Heihachi remains outside, reviewing his items and realizing that further expansion requires many more resources. After finishing, the group feels satisfied, and the need for more gacha becomes clear to continue improving their base. Heihachi suddenly grabs Noral's hands, expressing strong excitement after hearing her unexpected support. Overwhelmed with joy, he reacts intensely, unable to hide his surprise at her willingness to continue the gacha. Confidence follows as he proudly explains his determination, while Noral responds with visible confusion and hesitation. A new plan forms, with Heihachi aiming to find better hunting grounds to gather more resources for expansion. Agreement spreads among the group, though a quiet warning remains about the risks if things go too far again. Notification appears on Heihachi's device, drawing attention as a new announcement interrupts their routine. Details reveal a newly released special quest, surprising him as the system introduces another opportunity. Gathering around the table, the group reviews the information, noticing a map linked to the event. Heihachi studies the map closely, identifying a nearby location where something unusual is expected to occur. Limited time and valuable rewards are confirmed, leaving the group cautious yet aware of the potential benefits. Heihachi decides to pursue the special event, recognizing its value despite the unknown risks ahead. Elsewhere, a group of adventurers moves through the forest, preparing to complete a routine goblin hunt. Suddenly, enemies emerge in large numbers, shifting the situation from simple task to immediate danger. As the battle begins, the overwhelming presence of goblins surrounds the area, hinting at a far greater threat. Gurren arrived at the guild, receiving cautious guidance as he entered the unfamiliar building and observed its quiet order. Soon after, a newly summoned ally appeared beside him, surprising everyone with her presence and marking the success of his gacha ability. Excitement spread as more companions joined, forming a growing team while attention shifted toward their unusual strength and composition. Concern followed when discussion turned to strange events nearby, hinting at a disturbance affecting the area. Focus settled on a mysterious goblin, as Gurren considered the possibility that this creature caused the abnormal situation. Reports described goblins using weapons and attacking adventurers, leading Gurren to connect the threat to the nearby forest. A special quest appeared, limited in time, and he quickly recognized it as a mutation-related mission. Without delay, he set out with his companions toward the goblin forest, showing urgency despite their questions. Along the way, he learned another party had already been dispatched, increasing the pressure to act quickly. Determination sharpened his focus as he aimed to complete the mission first and secure the reward before anyone else. Okura's desire for rewards became clear, while the group continued forward despite his awkward attempt to justify it. Entering the goblin forest, the party recalled past experiences, their attention shifting between unease and curiosity. Signs of defeated goblins appeared, suggesting recent activity, yet no special target could be found. Suspicion grew as Gurren noticed something tracking them from a distance, raising doubts about their surroundings. A hidden goblin aimed carefully from above, releasing an attack as Gurren questioned the emptiness ahead. Gurren reacted instantly as danger approached, calling out while his companion noticed the sudden threat. An attack struck, but his ally moved quickly, intercepting the blow and forcing the enemy back. After the clash, the group confirmed the goblin's unusual behavior, linking it to the strange signals detected earlier. Following those signals, they advanced deeper into the forest, eventually discovering a hidden cave. Attention fixed on the entrance, as Gurren realized the source lay within. While multiple signals gathered beyond the darkness, the group examined the deep hole, sensing danger before deciding to enter despite the uneasy atmosphere. Inside the tunnel, dim light revealed rough walls, while concern grew about its unstable structure. Suddenly, armed goblins rushed forward again, forcing the party to react and prepare for battle. Combat unfolded quickly as each member struck back, pushing the attackers away within the narrow space. Amid the clash, Gurren faced an unexpected magical attack, realizing the enemies were more dangerous than anticipated. Deeper inside, stronger goblins appeared, including one capable of magic, confirming the threat had evolved beyond normal creatures. After defeating them, the group noticed how easily the enemies fell, raising doubts about the true difficulty. More goblins gathered, but Gurren used his magic stone effectively, overwhelming them with controlled attacks. As enemies began to flee, he realized his energy source was depleting, forcing the team to pursue quickly. The chase led them into a constructed area, where the surroundings revealed a hidden dungeon within the cave. The group reached a dead end, but a hidden magic circle activated beneath them, suddenly transporting everyone. In a new chamber, goblins reappeared and gathered, preparing another coordinated attack within the enclosed space. Before the clash escalated, A hooded figure intervened, eliminating the goblins with overwhelming force and revealing superior control. Gurren realized the truth, recognizing the stranger as another wielder of the same gacha power, marking the appearance of a new rival. A sudden impact echoes through a stone corridor as dust spreads across the floor. He regains awareness and notices a girl nearby, both confused while trying to understand their unexpected arrival. Realizing something is wrong, he looks around and senses that their companions are no longer with them, searching for a solution, hoping it can reconnect them despite limited options available. The attempt fails, recognizing they remain isolated without any working communication. He checks the device again, while tension lingers. Yet the girl beside him remains calm. She reassures him that their missing companions are likely safe. Determination builds as they move forward together through the corridor, choosing to search rather than wait in place. Elsewhere, a separated ally struggles alone, calling out while trying to endure the uncertainty. At the same time, confirming a connection and realizing the group has been split apart, two girls move cautiously, promising to find their ally while concern grows about his safety. A strange noise echoes through the corridor, causing them to stop and look around with unease. Moments later, a massive rolling object appears ahead, blocking their path and forcing them to react quickly. Shock spreads across their faces as the threat closes in, leaving little time to think, regaining momentum, while elsewhere, their companion steadies himself despite missing support. He reflects on his actions, unsure of his abilities. While the girl observes his hesitation and questions his mindset, confidence begins to form as he steadies himself, deciding to act with determination despite lingering doubt. Uncertainty returns briefly, and he compares himself to others. The girl reacts with frustration, expressing her own feelings as tension rises between them. He ends the moment abruptly and moves forward, urging her to continue as they press on through the corridor. Heihachi pauses mid-step while the girl turns toward a dark passage as unease spreads. From the corridor, its presence drawing Heihachi's full attention as tension rises. The stranger reveals a strange object and speaks with purpose, leaving Heihachi and his companion unsure of his intentions. Without warning, the figure begins a ritual, raising power as the surroundings react to the sudden surge. Energy intensifies, realizing the situation is turning dangerous as the figure completes his action, unable to understand the cloaked figure's strange behavior and words, choosing to move on. But the figure suddenly releases a powerful attack toward them. The impact hits Heihachi directly, forcing him back as pain spreads, while the girl reacts in shock. Anger rises as she faces the attacker, recognizing the threat and preparing herself despite the danger. He regains his footing and rushes forward again, realizing the enemy is no ordinary adventurer and must be stopped. Her body moving forward while the cloaked figure advances without hesitation. She launches a fast strike, closing the distance and forcing the enemy to respond to her sudden attack. Another swordswoman appears and blocks the clash, stepping in with precision while Heihachi watches in surprise. The cloaked figure acknowledges her strength, while she remains calm. Heihachi realizes her true identity, understanding that she belongs to a powerful group as the situation grows more intense. A mysterious swordswoman appears, revealing she shares the same origin as Heihachi's summoned allies. Through a narrow stone corridor, Heihachi's group moves cautiously as torchlight flickers. Without hesitation, a powerful ally surges forward, protecting a girl while crushing enemies. Under constant pressure, the team advances, while one fighter stays behind to stop the pursuit. In another chamber, Heihachi meets Sylvie Rock. Recognition emerges, connecting her to a known group. Quietly, Heihachi considers her presence, sensing a deeper link forming as events continue unfolding. Heihachi studies the situation, realizing another player from his world stands before him. A masked figure confronts them, accusing Heihachi of seeking the same treasure. Confidence fills the opponent as he declares control over treasures across worlds, hand signaling an attack. Reacting instantly, Heihachi dashes forward to close the distance. Before the strike completes, Heihachi intercepts the attack, stopping it directly and preventing the attack from being released. Beside Sylvie, another girl steps forward with a firm grip on her weapon. Calm resolve shows in her expression while she declares her role in the fight. Energy shifts as he prepares to strike before the enemy can react. In a swift motion, the masked opponent counters and lifts Heihachi with overwhelming strength. Moments later, Heihachi is thrown aside, crashing down hard. Pain spreads, yet the fight remains far from over. With a sharp cry, the cleric raises her weapon and charges forward. Swift motion follows as she attempts to overwhelm Sylvie with force. In response, Sylvie shifts her stance and counters with precise swordplay. Confidence remains steady for the cleric, relying on endurance and recovery. Determination hardens as Sylvie prepares a finishing approach, planning to outlast the cleric's strength. Elsewhere, Heihachi dodges a powerful impact. Realizing the enemy relies on rare gacha-based abilities, a sudden force repels him, revealing the enemy's enhanced power through a rare item. Confusion spreads as the masked man declares completion of a hidden setup. Dark energy gathers as the enemy activates a destructive ability. Power surges forward, threatening everything in its path. At that moment, Sylvie reacts and intervenes. The attack collides violently, breaking through the structure and shaking the entire area. After the destruction settles, Heihachi remains standing while the others recover. The group regains composure and reflects on the dangerous trap. Concern rises about allies elsewhere, yet reassurance is offered. Despite the calm moment, unease lingers beneath their expressions. Without warning, the cleric launches another fierce attack. Movement sharpens as Sylvie reacts. Focused determination appears in Sylvie's gaze. Her stance shifts smoothly, preparing a decisive counter. In a swift strike, Sylvie unleashes a powerful slash that blasts forward. Nearby, Heihachi struggles to stand. Relief returns as the cleric recovers. Confirming her condition, Heihachi steadies himself nearby. Meanwhile, the masked enemy prepares another move, hinting at hidden strength. Sensing danger, Heihachi warns the others. At the same time, Sylvie tightens her grip, readying herself for what comes next. Suddenly, the ground fractures and energy erupts outward. The strange phenomenon confuses everyone as its source remains unclear. Without pause, the force expands violently, sending debris flying across the chamber. A massive beast emerges from rubble, forcing Heihachi's group to confront a new threat. Inside a ruined labyrinth, a party confronts a towering horned beast as rubble scatters across the floor. Soon, its true form emerges, revealing a grinning goblin core controlling the massive body from above. Then, analysis exposes overwhelming power, identifying it as a controlled monster far beyond their current strength. Despite the danger, the group's positioning themselves, while tension spreads across the battlefield. Finally, one member steps forward, raising his stance, determined to face the creature and act without hesitation. A cloaked figure raises his arm, releasing a powerful ability as energy gathers around him. In an instant, force bursts outward, pushing allies and enemies alike as the attack expands. Afterward, the battlefield falls still, leaving only two members as the others suddenly disappear. Panic spreads as the remaining pair realize the group has been separated, forcing a desperate retreat. Meanwhile, the massive beast crashes through the labyrinth, shaking the ground as destruction follows its charge. The pair flees through the corridor as the massive beast chases closely behind, its presence overwhelming. Heavy footsteps shake the labyrinth, yet the pursuers realize the creature refuses to slow down despite its size. While running, they assess the situation, concluding that direct attacks are useless against such immense defense. A sudden plan forms as one charges forward, aiming not at the giant body but at the goblin controlling it. With precise timing, the strike lands on the exposed core, targeting the true source of the monster's power. The attack misses its mark, forcing the pair to keep running as the massive beast closes the distance behind them. Elsewhere, a loud tremor echoes through the labyrinth, drawing the attention of the separated members as they sense danger nearby. Quickly, realizing the source, they rush through the corridor, determined to regroup with their companions. Back in the ruined chamber, the creature crashes down violently, its strength tearing apart the surroundings as it searches relentlessly. Exhaustion sets in for the fleeing fighter. Yet the beast continues its pursuit without slowing, leaving no chance to recover or escape easily. Overwhelms the pair as they pause, sweat dripping while the danger behind them grows closer. Determination rises as the boy prepares a powerful item, forming a plan to turn the situation around. Carefully he explains the strategy, relying on a single opening while trusting his partner's strength. Resolve settles in as he chooses to act as the shield, deciding to face the monster directly. Surprise fills her expression, realizing his intention, while his focus remains fixed on protecting her at any cost. With firm resolve, the boy rushes forward, leaving the explosive tool behind while drawing the monster's attention. A heavy strike crashes down, yet he endures it, bracing himself as the creature focuses entirely on him. Seizing the moment, the girl steps in from behind, moving toward the exposed goblin controlling the beast. Carefully, she plants the dynamite onto the core, ensuring the target cannot escape before retreating. Moments later, a massive explosion erupts, engulfing the creature as the plan finally reaches its decisive climax. After the explosion, the boy remains on the ground, watching the fallen creature as silence slowly returns. Relief follows as his companion approaches, expressing concern while recognizing the risk behind his reckless plan. Soon, the rest of the group appears from another passage, confirming that everyone has safely regrouped. Gratitude spreads among them as they check for injuries, realizing the battle ended without further loss. Discussion then shifts to unfamiliar figures and hidden motives, hinting that the labyrinth holds deeper mysteries ahead. Shock spreads across the group as the result appears, revealing their effort ended in failure despite defeating the monster. Elsewhere, a cloaked figure calmly checks the rewards, showing satisfaction as the true completion is claimed. Laughter echoes through a grand hall, signaling triumph from those who manipulated the outcome behind the scenes. Back in the labyrinth, confusion rises as the team realizes another party has cleared the anomaly first. Frustration builds within the boy, forming a quiet resolve to confront those responsible when their paths cross again. Fueled by frustration, he vows to grow stronger, determined to rebuild his party and surpass those who defeated them. A young man stared at his phone, realizing the Goblin Labyrinth quest had failed, leaving him frustrated and questioning his earlier expectations. Memories of strange companions surfaced, including a mysterious girl and a hooded figure, reminding him the labyrinth encounter was far from ordinary. Lying on his bed, he reflected on their strength and motives, considering the possibility they might reappear and interfere with his path again. Frustration grew as he compared his poor results to their success, especially recalling how one of them obtained a powerful ally he could not secure. Suddenly, something unexpected appeared before him, changing everything. Heihachi sat in distress, holding his head while three girls watched, noticing his unusual behavior and growing concern. Attention shifted as one of them questioned his mood, prompting him to show his phone and reveal the source of his frustration. Explanation followed as Heihachi described the complete Gacha, a system requiring every item to be collected before obtaining the rare reward. Details became clearer, illustrating how collecting all designated items led to a guaranteed high-rarity prize. Frustration deepened when Heihachi recalled repeated failures, wasted money, and poor results, leaving him overwhelmed despite all his efforts. Heihachi hesitated, thinking about Luna's appearance, while a sudden chance revealed her as a possible complete reward, giving him renewed determination. Resolve strengthened as he prepared more pulls, determined not to miss this opportunity, while his companions supported his attempt. Confidence rose as he believed this attempt would finally bring Luna to him, pushing forward despite past failures. Shisuha took the lead, achieving several required items quickly, though the results still showed signs of familiar bad luck. Estelle followed with better fortune, obtaining a key item, hinting that success might finally be within reach. Norrell continued the summons, gaining multiple required items, bringing steady progress toward completing the set. Encouragement spread among the group as their combined efforts reduced the remaining requirements, making success seem closer. Hope surged when another rare item appeared, suggesting that luck had finally turned in their favor. Only one item remained, pushing Heihachi to take the final attempt himself, despite earlier failures and pressure. Calm confidence replaced doubt as he prepared the last pull, believing the long struggle would finally reward him with Luna. Heihachi smiled with confidence, believing his final attempt would succeed after enduring countless failures. A rare item appeared, raising hope among the group as they thought the last requirement had been fulfilled. Doubt emerged when they realized the same item could appear again, shaking their expectations. Frustration returned as Heihachi recognized the result as another duplicate, threatening everything he had worked toward. Determination remained despite repeated failures, as he continued pulling, unwilling to abandon the final chance to complete the gacha. The group realized earlier success had been luck, as doubles now appeared, confirming Heihachi's fears. Concern deepened when he questioned the odds, wondering if completing the set in one final attempt was even possible. A vision of Luna crossed his mind, making him fear he might never meet her in this world. Desperation took over as Heihachi shouted, refusing to give up despite overwhelming frustration and pressure. With one last effort he made the final pull, and the result finally opened the path to Luna, ending his long struggle. The final reward appeared, and the group believed Luna would finally be obtained, filling the room with anticipation. Silence followed as the result processed, leaving everyone waiting for confirmation of success. Shock erupted when the outcome revealed the wrong item, shattering Heihachi's expectations instantly. Frustration overwhelmed him as he realized his resources were gone, leaving no chance for another attempt. Despair turned into a loud outburst while the others watched, recognizing his breakdown after losing the long-awaited reward. Heihachi gathered everyone, calling for a strategy meeting as tension filled the room after the failed attempt. Concern spread when they confirmed their magic stones were gone, though the event still had time remaining. Suggestions arose to keep trying, but Heihachi rejected the idea, deciding to stop. Instead of risking further loss, frustration surfaced among the group as they questioned his sudden decision, unable to accept giving up so easily. Calm returned as Heihachi revealed he had another plan, aiming to reduce the burden while finding a new way forward. Heihachi decided to recruit help and change their approach. In front of a large building, Almino and Camilla introduced themselves as new adventurers, entrusted with a task. Soon after, a man assessed their abilities, noting that dealing with black orcs should not be difficult. Later, a suggestion emerged to consult someone named Green San, indicating a need for guidance before proceeding further. As discussions continued, the group realized efficiency depended on increasing participants. Past attempts revealed limitations when working alone, shaping their new approach. In the end, agreement formed around seeking Green San's help as the idea gained support among them. Beneath towering trees, the group gathered while light filtered down. Heihachi and the others examined the area. Soon after, concerns arose about how many enemies might appear. Despite the uncertainty, Heihachi remained calm, treating the situation as manageable and standing by the plan. The knight stepped forward immediately, drawing its attention while the others moved as instructed. With precise timing, the knight struck and overwhelmed the creature in a single exchange. The group watched in shock as the battle ended almost instantly. Afterward, the result was credited to Estelle's support magic. Heihachi observed quietly while the others processed what had just happened. After the battle, the group checked their results but found no magic stones gained. Heihachi noticed the outcome differed from expectations. Attention shifted when a ring on Camilla's hand was revealed. Its details showed powerful defensive properties, indicating it was no ordinary item. Realization spread quickly as the others identified it as a rare guardian's ring. Heihachi reacted with surprise, confirming his earlier suspicion. Camilla explained she had obtained it earlier, unaware of its significance. The discovery led Heihachi to question how such equipment appeared. Soon after, the group decided to continue fighting while using the newly revealed gear, adapting their strategy to this unexpected advantage. Heihachi realized the equipment carried Estelle's magic, making it a special tool rather than ordinary gear. During the next encounter, they fought another monster while carefully observing the results. Heihachi focused on the outcome as the others executed their roles. Soon after, the magic stone count increased, confirming that their actions were producing results this time. As more enemies were defeated, the number kept rising steadily, showing that their method was working efficiently. In the end, they understood the condition needed to obtain magic stones, while others nearby began to notice their unusual progress. Heihachi led a growing group forward as magic stone farming began in earnest. Their formation showed coordination, marking the start of a more organized effort. Battles followed continuously, with the team defeating monsters while maintaining their pace. Scenes of progress spread across their journey, showing both combat and preparation. The group's efficiency improved, as each member contributed to the overall effort. Amid the activity, lighter moments appeared, reflecting brief pauses between battles. Despite this, the focus on gathering resources never truly faded. Toward the end, Heihachi grew concerned as time ran short. Although the farming was successful, a crucial item had yet to appear, leaving uncertainty ahead. Suddenly, a warning reached Heihachi as Estelle was identified to be in danger. The urgency forced him to react immediately. Moments later, Estelle lost control of her magic, unleashing destructive power around her. Heihachi rushed forward, shocked by the sudden outburst. As the chaos spread, Estelle's unstable emotions drove her magic further, threatening to destroy everything nearby. Heihachi moved quickly to stop her before it escalated. Reaching her in time, he secured Estelle and entrusted her to safety, while the others handled the aftermath. Afterward, Estelle reflected quietly, feeling regret over what had happened, while the situation finally settled. Inside a quiet room, Heihachi faced Estelle and reassured her while taking responsibility for what happened. He prepared to move forward and resume their objective. Soon after, he reviewed their results, noting the large number of magic stones gathered. A plan formed to use them carefully, selecting the best candidates for the next step. Moments later, the gacha process began with anticipation, as they committed to a decisive pull. However, the result brought visible disappointment, leaving the group unsettled. Heihachi struggled to process the failure. In the end, silence filled the room as the attempt concluded unsuccessfully, casting doubt over their progress. Heihachi stared at the remaining stones, realizing only one attempt was left. Regret surfaced as he recalled stopping earlier, leaving uncertainty over their final chance. Suddenly, Shisuha questioned the group's despair, refusing to accept that everything had already ended. Encouragement spread as she reminded them that one opportunity still remained. The others looked on as hope slowly returned. With resolve, Shisuha stepped forward and claimed the final attempt for herself. Her decision carried both risk and expectation. In the end, Heihachi entrusted everything to her, watching closely as she prepared to take the last pull. Shisuha reacted with surprise, struggling to understand her selection as the final choice placed unexpected responsibility on her shoulders. Shishuha reacts with shock as responsibility is suddenly placed on her, uncertainty spreading across her face while others look on. Doubt holds her back, yet the boy firmly pushes her forward, reminding her of her strength and urging her to act with confidence. Support from the group grows, their trust gradually easing her hesitation as belief in her ability begins to form. Determination replaces fear, and she gathers her courage, deciding to take on the challenge despite lingering pressure. Facing the tense situation, Shishuha steadies herself, knowing success depends on her action in this critical moment. A tense moment settles as the result is revealed, and the outcome is accepted as a shared failure. Silence fills the room while everyone processes what happened, uncertainty lingering across their expressions. Suddenly, the system responds, and an unexpected reward appears, shifting the atmosphere instantly. Excitement bursts out as the group realizes a complete set has been achieved, bringing renewed energy. Relief and joy spread among them, their earlier tension replaced by celebration as success finally arrives. The next morning begins with quiet routine as he cleans carefully, trying to stay focused while the others notice his effort. Soon, urgency takes over when the group prepares for an important task, pushing him to stop and gather himself. A plan forms to summon Luna properly, and they decide to proceed together with cautious optimism. Standing united, they begin the long-awaited summoning, placing their hopes on a successful result. However, the attempt fails instantly as the system denies it, revealing insufficient cost and leaving him stunned. Faced with failure, the group considers using a cost-down option, hoping it will make summoning possible again. He looks toward her for guidance, while she responds calmly, showing quiet support for the decision. The cost decreases, and agreement is reached, allowing the plan to proceed with renewed confidence. Energy gathers as the summoning begins once more, and everyone watches closely as light fills the room. From the glow, a powerful figure appears, leaving the group stunned as the long-awaited summoning finally succeeds. A powerful girl emerges from the summoning, her presence overwhelming as she steps forward with calm authority. The group stares in shock, unable to hide their amazement as they take in her appearance. Without hesitation, she moves gracefully, her aura filling the room and keeping everyone frozen in place. Excitement breaks through as he rushes forward, eager to greet her despite the tension. She introduces herself with composure, establishing her identity while the others observe, realizing a new companion has joined them. Tension builds as Luna's gaze fixes on Shishuha, making her uneasy under the intense attention. Confusion spreads when Shishuha tries to dismiss it, though her behavior begins to draw concern from the others. Gathering courage, she moves closer, hoping to connect with Luna despite her nervousness. Suddenly, Luna reacts aggressively, striking her away and creating chaos as the group rushes in. Fear rises when Luna declares hostility, treating Shishuha as an enemy, while everyone struggles to understand the situation. Conflict rises as Luna rejects Shishuha, refusing to listen while Shishuha struggles to understand the hostility. Attempts to ease the situation begin, with a plan to improve their relationship, though Luna immediately refuses cooperation. Suggestions continue, but Luna dismisses every idea, showing no interest in bonding and choosing to avoid effort. Eventually, she declares she will stay behind, leaving responsibilities to others while remaining inside. As the group departs, Luna rests alone, and doubt lingers about her intentions and her place within the team. A rare summon succeeds, bringing Luna Verades into the world. Her presence marks a turning point. 2 days pass, yet Luna remains asleep. The boy watches over her, unable to wake her despite concern. Doubt grows as he fears forcing her awake might damage their bond. Pressure from those nearby increases, but he continues to hesitate, prioritizing her feelings over urgency. Eventually, he decides to register Luna as an adventurer. Her appearance raises concerns about suspicion. The boy reflects on his previous world, recalling demi-humans. A wider view of the town prompts a new question about whether such beings exist here. Hihachi arrives at the guild, seeking answers about demi-humans. Uncertainty shows as he tries to understand the world's races while speaking with the receptionist. Information begins to surface, describing beings with distinct features. Hihachi listens carefully. The explanation shifts toward demons instead of demi-humans. Their nature is revealed as dangerous, possessing both overwhelming strength and magical ability. Memories of powerful enemies from his past resurface. Hihachi recalls terrifying raid bosses, realizing the similarities between those creatures and the demons described. A final answer emerges, stating demons no longer exist. Hihachi learns they were wiped out long ago, leaving behind only fragments of information and uncertainty. Thoughts about demons linger, leading him to question Luna's true nature. though no clear answer comes. Caution shapes his next decision. Heihachi concludes that keeping Luna hidden remains the safest choice for now. Curiosity soon replaces hesitation. Heihachi expresses interest in understanding Luna's abilities, recognizing the importance of knowing her strength. Plans begin to form as the group walks through the town. A temporary solution is discussed, aiming to avoid attention while they prepare for future steps. Back inside, the mood shifts as Luna is suddenly embraced. The moment interrupts their planning, bringing unexpected energy into the room. Luna clings tightly to Shisuha, creating a sudden commotion. Heihachi is called to intervene as the situation quickly becomes difficult to control. Awake at last, Luna refuses to let go. Heihachi attempts to separate them, but Shisuha resists, worried about losing Luna's affection. Tension rises as Luna shows hostility, insisting on staying close. Shisuha struggles to respond while Luna's behavior becomes more intense. Heihachi steps in firmly, refusing to allow things to escalate further. Despite Shisuha's calm reaction, he decides to act before it worsens. The moment turns chaotic as Shisuha reacts. While Luna continues without hesitation, leaving the others stunned, Luna suddenly releases Shisuha, leaving her body unable to move. Heihachi rushes closer, shocked by the unexpected result of the bite. Calmly, Luna explains her ability to inflict abnormal conditions. She reveals that paralysis was applied during the bite, ensuring Shisuha cannot move for a while. Relief replaces panic as Shisuha reacts with understanding. Luna remains composed, watching her without concern. Shisuha insists she can still move despite the effect, showing her strength as a priestess. Tension settles as Shisuha accepts the outcome. Determination forms within her, deciding to eventually build a better relationship with Luna, despite the conflict. Luna approaches Heihachi with a calm expression, showing quiet gratitude after the earlier chaos. The moment is interrupted as tension returns from behind. Heihachi is reminded to address the unresolved situation, shifting the focus back to responsibility. Attention moves toward a new topic as Luna listens. A simple setting forms, and the atmosphere settles enough for discussion. Heihachi introduces a request involving a rare flower. He explains the task clearly, presenting it as something that requires careful effort. Details emerge about the starflower, a plant found in dangerous forests at night. Heihachi decides to rely on Luna's strength, believing she can handle the risks ahead. Heihachi presents the request to the group, but concern arises about Luna joining. The task already seems difficult. Shisuha quickly defends Luna, standing firmly at her side. Tension builds as disagreement grows, while Luna remains caught in the middle. Control of the situation shifts as Shisuha insists on handling things herself. She decides to stay behind with Luna, leaving Heihachi uncertain. Luna reacts with confusion as the arrangement places her alone with Shisuha. The atmosphere becomes uneasy, despite Shisuha's cheerful attitude. Agreement is finally reached, but Luna adds a condition. She accepts the task, demanding proper payment, leaving Heihachi surprised by her response. Luna approaches Heihachi directly, closing the distance with clear intent. Heihachi reacts with surprise as she takes control of the situation. Without hesitation, Luna asserts her demand, leaving Heihachi unable to respond properly. Her request becomes clear as she insists on better living conditions. Determination shows as she refuses to settle for less. Heihachi finally gives in, agreeing to her terms. The matter settles as Luna secures her desired reward. A simple request sends a party into danger as they seek a rare starflower, yet unexpected werewolves appear, driving other adventurers away in fear. Inside Sterila Forest, a girl senses tension, her unease growing while the quiet trees hide something lurking beyond sight. Suddenly, movement startles the group, causing a clumsy collision as fear spreads and instincts push them to react without thinking. Amid confusion, companions cling together, excitement and irritation mixing while their bond shows through chaotic moments during the tense journey. In the end, the leader accepts responsibility, unable to refuse others, as the group continues forward. Before engaging, the leader checks a companion's condition using a device, ensuring readiness as tension builds in the quiet forest. Luna's status reveals overwhelming power, despite her level, leaving the group surprised as her abilities exceed expectations under the night. Attention briefly shifts to trivial comparisons, creating an awkward pause, while confidence rises within the party's dynamic. Moving deeper into the forest, the group stays alert as visibility worsens, sensing that danger may emerge from the darkness. A decision is made to change direction, choosing a safer path as caution overtakes their earlier determination. Thick brush blocks the path as the leader struggles to see ahead, his lantern barely cutting through the heavy darkness surrounding them. Luna calmly takes control, her vision unaffected by the night, guiding the group forward with confidence as a vampire accustomed to darkness. AA signal appears on the device, revealing movement ahead, and one member immediately charges forward after identifying an approaching enemy. AA sudden strike slices through the air, yet the target vanishes, leaving confusion as the attack connects with nothing. Caution returns as the group slows down, warned about unstable ground and hidden routes, choosing careful steps over reckless pursuit. The group reflects on Luna's behavior, realizing that despite her difficult nature, she shows unexpected kindness beneath her cold demeanor. Attention shifts to Luna as she explains her actions, revealing she only fulfills what is expected, while subtle embarrassment appears in her expression. Others tease her gently, highlighting her hidden sincerity, while she remains quiet, unable to fully deny their observations. With tension easing, the party regains focus and resumes their mission, moving together through the forest to continue the search. Soon after, something catches their attention, and the long-sought flower is finally spotted, bringing their objective within reach. The party finally locates the starflower, yet unease rises as the area feels too quiet, hinting at hidden danger nearby. Suddenly, multiple monsters reveal themselves, surrounding the group while waiting for the moment they attempt to pick the flower. Luna steps forward without hesitation, assigning roles to others before deciding to confront the threat alone despite their concern. With calm confidence, she prepares her power, dismissing the enemies as insignificant while energy gathers around her. In an instant, her attack unfolds with overwhelming force, asserting control over the battlefield as the confrontation begins. Luna launches forward with overwhelming speed, her spear cutting through the air as the werewolves brace against the sudden assault. Without slowing, she closes the distance instantly, her strike aimed with precision while the monsters fail to react in time. A sweeping attack follows, unleashing massive force that tears through the battlefield, leaving the enemies unable to withstand the impact. Watching from behind, the group realizes her true strength, recognizing both her elegance and destructive power in combat. Continuing the assault, Luna maintains control, striking repeatedly until the remaining threats collapse under her relentless attacks. The battle ends with Luna standing dominant, her strength leaving the group in awe as they recognize her overwhelming ability. Afterward, the glowing starflower is carefully secured, its beauty shining softly while the danger around them fades. Gratitude spreads through the party, acknowledging that success was only possible because of Luna's presence and power. A rare moment of warmth appears as Luna accepts the praise, her expression softening with quiet satisfaction. With the mission complete, the group prepares to move on, their bond strengthened by the victory they achieved together. Luna joins party, increasing strength, while seeking rest afterward. A girl stands before a mirror, adjusting her clothes with quiet determination. Her reflection reveals a mix of anticipation and nervous focus as she prepares herself. Soon after, she appears outside, neatly dressed, raising her hand to greet the boy waiting nearby. They walk through the town together, passing buildings and open paths. Another figure watches them from behind, holding on to a simple wish for the day. While walking, the boy speaks calmly and the girl listens, staying close beside him with steady steps. In the end, she smiles brightly, certain that being with him is where she truly belongs. Inside a quiet room, the pair looks around at furniture and options. The boy observes the variety available. Moments later, he decides on a specific store, suggesting it as their choice. She considers the idea briefly, showing mild curiosity before accepting. At the shop, arrangements are discussed with the owner, and a decision is settled. The girl sits nearby, appearing thoughtful as the delivery is confirmed. Walking back through the street, both move at an easy pace. A sense of relief follows their quick decision. Eventually, she looks at him with quiet seriousness, hinting at a lingering question that catches him slightly off guard. The girl watches closely, her calm gaze turning slightly suspicious as she senses something hidden. Trying to shift attention, he suggests visiting more shops. She pauses for a moment, then agrees. They stop along the street, considering their next destination. He proposes heading to the capital, though uncertainty lingers in his posture. A gentle smile appears on her face as she expresses quiet acceptance. Without hesitation, she takes his hand and moves forward, guiding their path together. Inside another shop, her curiosity grows while examining unfamiliar items. The boy follows behind, watching as she focuses on something that captures her interest. Inside the shop, a necklace displayed in a box draws attention. The boy reacts with surprise, while the item is introduced as a popular magic gemstone. The shopkeeper begins explaining, and the girl listens carefully, sensing something unusual from the stone. A detailed explanation follows, describing how the gem reacts to magic, glowing brighter with greater power and sometimes showing special effects. Despite its high price, she remains focused, considering its value without hesitation. Soon after, she decides firmly to buy it using her own allowance. The moment ends with her quiet satisfaction as they leave the shop. They continue walking through the town, deciding to visit more shops. The boy watches her carefully. Soon, she pulls him along with growing excitement, moving from place to place. Their time together becomes lively as she leads. Later, they rest on a bench sharing a quiet break. She leans close while drinking, and he reacts with surprise. Afterward, they stand overlooking the city, enjoying a rare moment of calm. The wide view reflects a pause from their usual busy routine. Thoughts turn toward the future as they consider their progress. Though support exists, the path ahead still requires effort and steady growth. A serious thought emerges as the possibility of facing familiar opponents is considered. The girl remains composed, accepting the situation without visible concern. Standing by the overlook, both reflect on their current position. With their companion now present, as they begin walking back, she suddenly pauses. The boy turns in response, noticing her shift in attention. She reveals the gemstone in her hand, its surface catching the light. The boy reacts with clear excitement, recognizing its significance. A soft glow reflects from the gem as they observe it together. In that moment, its beauty and power become evident. Deepening their understanding of its value, speaks with quiet certainty, believing the gemstone will benefit her. She lowers her gaze, holding back her thoughts for a moment. Without warning, she steps forward and embraces him tightly. His body stiffens in surprise as her sudden action breaks the calm atmosphere. Pulling away, she places the necklace on him instead. The gem begins to shine brightly, drawing his full attention as realization slowly forms. Her decision carries sincerity, revealing that the purchase was never meant for herself. Standing before him, she completes her thought with quiet resolve. The gift reflects her feelings, turning the moment into something deeply personal. Her expression carries a mix of embarrassment and determination, leaving him unsure how to respond. Facing him directly, she demands acknowledgement. He nods nervously, accepting her words while still overwhelmed by the situation. Soon after, he admires the necklace as it glows softly. Her mood lightens, pleased that he appreciates what she chose for him. She then reminds him to treat it carefully, as if it represents something important. He listens closely, holding the gem with greater awareness. A quiet emotion settles within her as she watches him. Though her feelings remain mostly unspoken, they linger as the two begin heading back together. A large estate stands quietly as dark birds circle above. Inside, a man senses his power steadily increasing while observing distant progress. Seated before a screen, he studies gathered figures and symbols. Nearby, a woman watches as he focuses entirely on his goal. A hooded figure extends his hand, surrounded by powerful companions. Determination drives him toward claiming a higher status and ultimate control. Plans unfold as ambition grows stronger, his objective expands, aiming to build dominance regardless of the cost or resistance ahead. Confusion spreads among others observing him. Despite unclear understanding, his path continues forward with unwavering intent. A hooded figure sits calmly, assuring others while continuing to gather magic stones. Interest shifts as he prepares to raise a new question. A device is revealed, showing another existence with similar power. The discovery unsettles the room as doubt begins to spread. Confidence rises as the figure dismisses concern. Even with multiple chosen ones, the plan remains unchanged and fully under control. Far beyond the estate, a bold vision takes form. The goal expands toward reclaiming the demon's world with complete acceptance. Urgency interrupts the moment as new developments appear. Contact is cut short, leaving the situation unresolved yet steadily advancing. A sudden signal interrupts the room. The cloaked man moves quickly as news of a guest shifts the situation, drawing immediate attention. In another place, a boy awkwardly greets two girls. Meanwhile, a small elf focuses on her device, hoping for a rare result. Encouragement surrounds her as failure becomes common. The group notices her struggle, while expectations begin to change. Excitement rises when a desired item appears. The elf urgently pushes for it, fully captivated by the gacha reward. Happiness settles as she embraces the item. Simple comfort satisfies her more than rarity, easing the boy's concern. A sharp remark exposes the boy's obsession. Others question his constant focus on rare outcomes, suggesting his desire may be the cause of repeated failure. Frustration bursts out as he defends himself. Determination grows stronger, refusing to abandon his pursuit despite criticism. Nearby, a peaceful moment unfolds. A girl rests comfortably, drawing gentle admiration that contrasts his intense mindset. Resolve hardens as he prepares for one final attempt. Confidence rises, believing his effort will finally succeed. Silence follows the outcome, Disappointment lingers, leaving others confused while his decision brings uncertain consequences. Shock spreads across the boy's face as he notices something unusual on his device. The sudden anomaly disrupts his expectations. Energy surges as he gathers everyone and declares action. Determination builds while the group prepares to leave, though one quietly rests. Details emerge about the location ahead. The ruins in the desert become the target, where a dangerous anomaly is forming. The team travels swiftly across the vast sands. Their approach continues without delay, closing the distance to the destination. Contact is made during the journey. Updates confirm their safety, while the ruins draw closer with each passing moment. A small elf sleeps peacefully, while another girl watches from the doorway. A decision forms to wake her as preparations quietly begin. Across the desert, the group discusses timing and readiness. Plans move forward as they consider gathering strength before the next step. Sudden excitement erupts when the boy reacts strongly. Something unexpected catches his attention, shifting the group's focus immediately. Realization spreads as a gacha event appears at the worst moment. Their resources are already gone, leaving the situation tense. A special system is revealed on the device. Despite the cost, a guaranteed reward tempts them, forcing a difficult decision ahead. The boy explains the event mechanics, describing a system where repeated attempts lead to a guaranteed reward. Interest rises as the group listens closely. Doubt appears when the cost becomes clear. The required stones increase with each attempt, making success difficult with limited resources. Confidence returns as he understands the system fully. Determination grows stronger, seeing a clear path despite the rising cost. Urgency builds as time runs short. He decides to act seriously, unwilling to lose the reward again. Attention suddenly shifts forward. A warning interrupts the plan, signaling something unexpected approaching their position. A massive bird suddenly descends from above, striking without warning. The group is caught off guard as the attack disrupts their movement. Chaos spreads as they are thrown into the air. Their formation breaks apart while the creature continues its assault near the ruins. Elsewhere, a calm figure observes quietly. Awareness of the intruders grows as their arrival becomes expected. A woman steps forward with confidence, preparing to act. The situation shifts as she considers delaying the approaching group. Hostility becomes clear as she claims them as targets. A warning follows, showing her intent to protect her domain at any cost. A boy crashes onto the sand, panic spreading across his face as the desert stretches endlessly around him. Soon after, he regroups with his companions near a distant pyramid. They assess the situation calmly, choosing to move forward together through the harsh terrain. Determination grows within one ally, unwilling to remain a burden. Resolve replaces hesitation as she prepares to prove her strength. Above them, a tamer commands a swarm of birds. The creatures surge forward in unison, forming a coordinated aerial assault. Sensing danger, the group looks up as the flock returns. Tension rises while they brace for another incoming attack. A flock dives from above, wings cutting through the air as countless shadows descend toward the group. Suddenly attacks rain down. The boy reacts instinctively while his allies brace themselves, barely holding their ground under the rapid assault. Realizing the danger, they retreat behind broken walls. Dust rises as impacts strike nearby, forcing them into cover. After escaping the barrage, they rest briefly, shaken but alive. The distant pyramid remains their goal, yet the threat still circles overhead. Gathering themselves, they consider their next move. Limitations become clear, and the boy begins searching for a way to counter the flying enemies. An idea forms as the group regathers behind the ruins. The boy notices something small and unusual. He lifts a worn stuffed toy, confidence replacing earlier fear. A simple plan begins to take shape in his mind. Without hesitation, he throws the toy into the open. His allies react with surprise, unsure how such an object could help. Curious birds descend and gather around it, drawn away from the group. The distraction works as the swarm focuses entirely on the strange target taking advantage. The boy triggers a hidden item. A sudden flash erupts, engulfing the flock and breaking their attack. Blinded birds fall from the sky, scattering across the sand. Seizing the moment, the group moves quickly to finish them before they recover. With the threat gone, they turn toward the pyramid. Confidence returns as they prepare to advance, believing the path ahead is finally clear. Elsewhere, a new presence watches with cold amusement. The group's efforts appear insignificant, dismissed as weak and unworthy. That figure decides to act, seeking someone stronger while leaving the area behind with quiet intent. Unaware of the looming danger, the group continues forward. A sudden urgency interrupts their progress, forcing them to change direction immediately. Inside the ruins, the group reunites with two girls. The sudden meeting interrupts the calm, and concern spreads as they sense something unusual. While moving deeper through the corridor, they learn about a powerful monster tamer. Suspicion grows as the connection to recent events becomes clearer. Despite the uncertainty, they decide to proceed. Confidence remains as they aim to clear the ruins before anyone else. Darkness surrounds them within the structure. Progress slows, forcing the group to rely on limited light and careful steps. Trust forms as one takes the lead. Following her guidance, they continue forward and begin conquering the Angol ruins together. Within the ruins, the group advances while undead creatures emerge. With support from a sacred blessing, they push forward without slowing. Soon, they reach a deeper chamber and uncover a treasure chest. Progress feels steady as they continue exploring further inside. Elsewhere, a girl confronts monsters with ease, controlling the situation completely. Her actions show dominance rather than struggle. Behind her, numerous creatures gather, moving under her command. Control over the undead becomes undeniable. Meanwhile, others observe cautiously. Confidence remains. Yet the growing presence of controlled monsters hints at an approaching confrontation. Tension rises as one girl reacts sharply, anger surfacing when her worth is questioned. The mood shifts from calm to confrontation. Another points out a critical mistake, suggesting the enemy has already entered unnoticed. Frustration builds as the situation grows more serious. A command cuts through the noise, halting the argument. Focus returns as attention shifts toward the real threat. The group gathers before a cloaked figure, authority becoming clear. Control and hierarchy emerge, forcing others to fall in line. Moments later, movement echoes through the ruins. The opposing sides face each other, signaling the beginning of a direct encounter. Rushing through the corridor, the group arrives just in time and spots their enemies ahead. Alertness sharpens as they prepare for confrontation. Facing them directly, both sides stand firm. Determination replaces caution, and the moment shifts into a decisive clash about to begin. A group gathers inside a stone chamber, facing a robed figure. Heihachi stands confidently among his companions, while opposing figures observe with cold intent. Confusion spreads briefly, yet the enemy quickly asserts control. The cloaked figure steps forward, correcting the situation and focusing attention on Heihachi. Recognition follows as Heihachi's identity becomes clear. The robed opponent reacts sharply, signaling hostility and rejecting any misunderstanding. Both sides form battle positions. Heihachi's team advances with readiness, believing their advantage lies in numbers and coordination. The cloaked figure reveals a hidden force behind him. A large army emerges, overwhelming Heihachi's group and shifting the balance instantly. A confident girl declares control over every monster in the labyrinth. Heihachi realizes the threat comes from her power, understanding the danger surrounding them. His group quickly regains focus and prepares a response. Rather than hesitate, they decide to split the enemies and confront the situation directly. Command is given without delay. The opposing leader calmly orders an attack, showing complete confidence in the forces under control. Monsters charge forward in large numbers. Heihachi's companions rush ahead, striking first and disrupting the enemy formation with swift movements. Their coordinated advance pushes through the front line, turning the chaotic clash into a controlled assault. Blades clash in close combat as Heihachi's allies push forward. Steel collides rapidly, forcing the enemy line to stagger under coordinated strikes. Greed surfaces as both sides focus on the magic stones. Heihachi stands firm, refusing to yield while the cloaked opponent insists on dominance. The robed figure advances, dismissing Heihachi's group as insignificant. A direct confrontation begins as both leaders close the distance. Monsters surge again, yet several are struck down quickly. Attacks from Heihachi's team land cleanly, breaking through the advancing wave. Attention shifts to the girl controlling the monsters. Her ability becomes clear, revealing that she commands the creatures without engaging directly in battle. A small girl confidently mocks her opponent, dismissing his magic as weak and ineffective. She stands calmly, showing no concern for the attacks aimed at her. A powerful spell is unleashed toward her. The swirling force rushes forward, yet she remains steady as it approaches. Her companion reacts instantly, intercepting the attack. The creature absorbs the magic completely, leaving the girl unharmed and revealing an unexpected defense. Control of the battle becomes clear. The girl explains that her companion feeds on magic, making direct spells useless against her. Confidence grows as she asserts dominance. Even without relying on her companion, she believes the outcome is already decided in her favor. The girl playfully prepares another spell, releasing a massive swirling attack toward her opponent while showing little concern for the outcome. The attack grows in size and force, yet her confidence remains unchanged. She treats the effort as meaningless, expecting no result. A sudden impact disrupts the moment. The blast triggers an unexpected reaction, forcing her companion into danger and breaking her composure. Anger replaces her earlier calm. Realizing the damage caused, she loses control and reacts emotionally, drawing attention from both sides. Chaos spreads across the battlefield. Surrounded by monsters, she becomes vulnerable as the situation shifts against her. Surrounded by monsters, Estelle stands trapped as the enemies close in. The situation tightens, leaving her with little space to move. A knight steps forward to shield her, engaging the creatures directly. At the same time, Estelle launches magic to push back the attackers. Suddenly, Heihachi charges into the scene. He forces his way through the monsters, breaking their formation to reach her. He quickly checks on Estelle, while keeping the enemies at bay. Relief appears as he confirms her safety, despite the danger. Focus returns to the battle. The group regathers and prepares to deal with the remaining monsters as the fight continues. Shisuhen notices the monsters moving toward Estelle and quickly reacts. Concern rises as the group realizes the enemies are focusing their attacks on her. A brief discussion follows. As they adjust their roles, Shisuhe is told to remain behind as support. Another ally steps forward with determination. Power gathers around her as she prepares to end the battle with a decisive move. More monsters flood the area, increasing the pressure. The enemy force grows larger, threatening to overwhelm the group. Tension spikes as warnings are shouted. Heihachi moves to protect his allies while the enemy leader reappears, pushing the fight toward a critical moment. Luna steps forward as energy gathers around her weapon. Her presence shifts the battlefield, drawing everyone's attention to the sudden surge of power. A massive force is released, sweeping across the area. Heihachi shields an ally as the blast spreads uncontrollably. The attack strikes with overwhelming impact. Explosions tear through the enemy ranks, scattering monsters and shaking the surroundings. After the blast fades, survivors regain their footing. Heihachi checks on his companions while Luna stands at a distance. Relief turns into realization. The group acknowledges Luna's strength, understanding that her single attack has decided the battle. Heihachi and his group observe the destroyed chamber, realizing Luna's attack ended the battle, while leaving uncertainty about the enemy's fate. A fierce clash erupts as a powerful strike is unleashed. The blast surges forward, overwhelming everything in its path. Debris collapses as the aftermath spreads through the ruins. Dust rises while the ground breaks apart from the impact. Two figures lie motionless among shattered stone. Their bodies remain still, surrounded by cracks and scattered rubble. Concern fills the area as others arrive and assess the situation. The fallen are checked carefully, confirming signs of life. Calm returns as the battle ends. The threat disappears, leaving only silence and the recovering survivors. A strange item begins to glow as the hooded figure raises it. Power gathers within the object, spreading an unusual energy. Without hesitation, the hooded figure attempts to flee while holding the item. Others react quickly, realizing the escape. Tension rises as the figure declares a role with absolute certainty. Confidence fills the moment, while a bold claim establishes authority. Energy surges outward in a blinding burst. The ground cracks as the figure unleashes overwhelming force, marking a decisive action. Silence follows the explosion, leaving only destruction behind. Those present observe carefully, sensing something hidden despite the disappearance. A small movement draws attention as the boy turns back. A girl quietly holds on to him, her grip weak yet seeking support. Her condition worsens as her face flushes and her breathing grows heavy. Signs of exhaustion appear, revealing something is wrong. Concern rises when others notice her fever. The group gathers, observing her unstable state, while tension builds. Suddenly, she lunges forward and clings tightly to the boy. Strength drains from him as her grip tightens, leaving him unable to resist. Panic spreads as the others rush to pull her away. Despite their efforts, she refuses to release him while his energy continues to fade. The group restrains the girl as confusion spreads. The boy recovers slightly, still weakened, while others question what just happened. Uncertainty follows as she tries to explain. A strange urge had taken over her actions, leaving her with little memory. Regret appears as she lowers her head and apologizes. The boy steadies himself, showing no anger, while the tension slowly fades. Relief replaces fear when her condition improves. The group acknowledges her effort, understanding the role she played in their survival. Calm settles over the ruins again. With her stabilized, the group regains focus and prepares to move forward together. Their victory over the rival party allows them to continue, while hidden mechanisms quietly eliminate threats within the labyrinth. A large chamber appears, revealing a strange pedestal at its center. The group approaches carefully, sensing its importance as they reach the deepest area. Light begins to shine as the boy interacts with the pedestal, using his device. A connection forms, linking the object to his world. Success follows instantly as the system confirms completion. Rewards are granted, and the group celebrates their achievement with relief and excitement. Elsewhere, a defeated figure awakens slowly. Confusion fills her expression as she searches for the others. The hooded figure reflects on the outcome while holding the device. Defeat is acknowledged, and responsibility is accepted as the cause becomes clear. Gratitude is shown toward the one who offered help earlier. A quiet recognition of support softens the atmosphere. Respect is returned as both sides lower their guard. Understanding replaces tension, allowing a brief moment of calm. A new goal forms as determination grows stronger. Plans shift toward gathering greater strength for future challenges. Later, a peaceful setting replaces the ruins. Rest returns to the group while thoughts turn toward the next opportunity, waiting for the right time to act. A small figure rests alone on a couch, seeking warmth and comfort. A quiet wish forms, hoping to share moments together with everyone. Concern rises when she is discovered sleeping in an unsuitable place. Her fragile state draws immediate attention from others nearby. Care is quickly taken as she is lifted and carried away. The group ensures she is brought somewhere safer. Leaving the night calm again, she clings closely to the boy, still half asleep. While he remains frozen in confusion at her presence. He wakes in confusion as a small elf girl sleeps beside him. Panic spreads across his face while he tries to understand how she appeared there. Soon after, a knock interrupts the moment. A girl named Estelle enters, noticing his strange reaction while he struggles to stay calm and avoid suspicion. Her attention shifts to the sleeping elf, raising doubts as the boy hurriedly tries to explain without success. Suspicion grows quickly. Estelle assumes the worst, believing he secretly brought the elf into his room, causing tension to rise. Before he can respond, Estelle reacts forcefully, sending him flying as the misunderstanding escalates. Estelle reacts with anger and grabs the boy, accusing him after seeing Luna beside him. Shock overwhelms him as the situation worsens instantly. He struggles to explain while Estelle insists Luna entered on her own. The argument confuses everyone, and tension spreads across the room. Despite his denial, Estelle questions him again, refusing to accept his excuse. Doubt remains as she presses him for the truth. Luna calmly clarifies part of the situation, shifting attention toward the real issue. The discussion turns toward his actions before the incident. Heihachi changes focus and reveals a new opportunity. He presents a step-up gacha, redirecting attention toward summoning instead of the misunderstanding. He expresses gratitude and announces a group gacha event. He explains that only 4 out of 5 can participate, choosing to step back for fairness. Estelle accepts the decision with calm satisfaction. Others prepare while the boy considers how the attempts will be divided among them. A clear order is established, ensuring everyone understands their turn. The plan brings structure as anticipation begins to build. Energy fills the room as the group gathers around the table. Excitement rises while the gacha event officially begins. Estelle takes the first attempt and pulls immediately. The result appears, revealing a rare item as her strong reaction shows mixed feelings. He confidently declares his turn, trusting his luck. Others watch with mixed expectations as he prepares to prove himself. Excitement quickly turns into frustration when the result appears. He reacts loudly after receiving an unexpected item, despite improved chances. The group comments on his reaction while he struggles to accept the outcome. Attention shifts as others evaluate his result with mixed opinions. Next, another turn begins with higher expectations. Tension builds again as the following attempt is made under better conditions. Even with a premium chance, the result fails to meet hopes. Disappointment spreads, as the group realizes luck is not on their side. Disappointment settles in as another attempt fails. The boy lowers his head, realizing his hopes of obtaining a rare result are fading. Encouragement comes from the group, easing the tension slightly. Despite that, he reflects on the situation and understands the final guaranteed result is their last chance. Estelle steps forward with excitement, ready to take her turn. Relief shows as she trusts the guaranteed outcome will bring success. Heihachi quietly watches, burdened by pressure. His thoughts linger on whether everything depends on this final attempt. Standing behind her, he gives a firm warning. The moment grows tense as the final pull approaches. Pressure overwhelms. Estella's doubt fills her mind. The others watch closely while her confidence begins to waver. Gathering herself, she proceeds with the final pull. The device reacts, and a strange glow emerges, drawing everyone's attention. A rare result finally appears, revealing a powerful item. Surprise spreads across the group as relief replaces tension. Suspicion follows the success, with some doubting the outcome. The moment feels unusual, despite the apparent victory. Focus shifts to examining the item more closely. Curiosity rises as they prepare to understand its true potential. He activates the newly obtained item. A strange object appears described as something that can change shape and respond to thoughts. At first, it looks small and unimpressive. Moments later, it begins to move and release a liquid-like substance, surprising everyone. The substance grows and stretches, like slime. Control seems possible, but its behavior becomes more active than expected. Suddenly, it expands rapidly and lashes out. Chaos spreads across the room as the group struggles to avoid its uncontrolled movement. With effort, the boy manages to stop it. The situation calms, though the group remains shaken by its unpredictable power. The strange item remains in Estelle's hands as she questions the boy's intentions. Suspicion lingers, while he reacts nervously to her teasing remark. Suddenly, the object acts up again and causes trouble. The boy collapses from the impact, while others look on with concern as the situation settles. Time passes, and the scene shifts to a peaceful city. The group moves on after completing their recent task at the ruins. At the guild, the boy reports their success and submits materials. The staff acknowledges the completion while others observe quietly. However, new information emerges about restrictions on the ruins. The boy listens carefully as the situation becomes more complicated. At the guild, the boy discusses recent restrictions and reflects on overlooking the rules. A sudden presence changes the atmosphere. The guild president arrives, bringing authority and tension as everyone turns serious. Soon after, the boy is called forward. Inside the room, the president prepares to question him, signaling a more important matter ahead. A report is delivered as two adventurers face a noble. Learning a labyrinth appeared in the Angol ruins recently. Suddenly, the boy admits a mistake. During an unauthorized investigation, while the group prepares to answer further questions, under careful scrutiny. Later, a woman reviews reports stating the anomaly was suppressed. Yet no evidence confirms the labyrinth's existence, raising new uncertainty. He wonders how such a journey was completed in 2 days, since reaching the distant ruins should have taken far longer. Suspicion grows as the noble questions claim. Unable to accept a non-existent labyrinth conquered instantly, leaving actions under doubt, the noble bursts into loud laughter, finding the party far more intriguing than expected, while the boy reacts in shock. Soon after, he examines a monster material and confirms the item proves their claims about the journey are true. Then, he suggests the use of magic, enabling long-distance travel, observing their nervous reactions as quiet confirmation. Returning to the matter, responsibility is acknowledged, since the party remained low-ranked, despite their growing reputation. Finally, another perspective supports their credibility, describing the group as trustworthy, though the situation still leaves lingering doubt. The noble announces a sudden decision, declaring the party promoted to B rank, leaving both members stunned by the unexpected outcome. Shock overwhelms the boy as the reality sinks in, while preparations begin immediately under the noble's firm command. Gratitude is expressed, yet confusion lingers, as he questions the reason behind such generous recognition and support. Attention shifts to their abilities, as the noble reveals he has long observed their growth, achievements, and unusual strength. Laughter fills the hall once more, as confidence in the party is affirmed, marking the beginning of greater expectations ahead. After the promotion, relief spreads through the group, while the boy grows excited about gaining more chances through the Gacha system. Soon, the noble gathers them again, revealing he has another request that requires their newly recognized abilities. An explanation follows about increasing monster outbreaks near Kellis, leading to a formal investigation assigned to their party. Plans begin forming as one member offers to guard the house, while the boy accepts an escort task tied to the journey. In the end, others decide to remain behind as well, ensuring safety while the mission proceeds with careful preparation. The group discusses roles, deciding the healer must join the journey despite initial hesitation, while others adjust their plans. Preparations continue as companions reassure one another, entrusting the home to those staying behind before departure. On the day of travel, they meet their client, who introduces himself and places expectations on their protection. Party accepts the escort mission, acknowledging the client's hopes while preparing to face possible dangers ahead. Soon after, a young girl appears, observing the adventurers closely, her presence quietly drawing attention to something unexpected. The young girl studies the group quietly, noticing their closeness while wondering if the journey ahead will be safe. Client reassures her, presenting the party as highly capable adventurers, easing tension as introductions continue. An apology is given for her behavior, and the group begins moving together, stepping forward toward departure. Final arrangements are discussed with a bodyguard, outlining roles and confirming readiness before leaving the city. The plan is set as the party divides into two groups, taking positions to guard the cart and prepare for dangers ahead. The group prepares to depart, but the boy hesitates when asked to ride, revealing uncertainty with handling a horse. Concern rises as others realize his struggle, noting he cannot ride at all despite earlier attempts. Repeated efforts fail, as the horse throws him off each time, turning the situation into an unexpected obstacle. A priestess steps forward calmly, offering to take control of the reins and resolve the problem with confidence. With the issue settled, the group regains focus, continuing their journey as final checks ensure everything proceeds smoothly. The girl suggests using support magic to ease the horse's burden, gaining attention as others consider her idea seriously. Approval follows quickly, and preparations continue smoothly as the plan reduces concerns about the journey ahead. Confidence returns to the group, with reassurance spreading while final steps are completed before departure. Soon, the escort mission begins, as the party leaves for Kellis, forming the Adelbel group for the long journey. Positions are assigned carefully, with some taking the front lines, while others guard the rear, ensuring balance and readiness. The journey begins with the boy awkwardly riding behind the priestess, struggling to keep balance while following her instructions. Soon, his uneasy posture causes tension, drawing reactions from others as the situation turns slightly chaotic. A sudden shift in mood occurs as the priestess senses an intense gaze, creating a moment of silent awareness. He dismisses the concern, assuming it is imagination, while the group continues moving along the road without stopping. However, the girl's sharp stare lingers, suggesting something deeper as she watches closely, leaving an uneasy feeling behind. While traveling, tension rises as the group senses danger ahead, prompting readiness as they continue guarding the carriage. Suddenly, a warning signal is noticed, leading to quick action as attention shifts toward the moving carriage. At once, monsters appear, forcing the guard to react immediately while the group prepares to confront the threat.